Well, a tremendous Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. I hope you're having an awesome Tuesday. And man, if you're just a fan of great stories and sports, I hope you had the opportunity. If you didn't, definitely do it tonight because the games are quick. They're only 2 7-minute halves, rugby sevens. So this started yesterday for the Canadian women. Now, they're a top 10 team in the country. They're not a slug. Like, they're a good team. But they beat France, the number 3 ranked team, yesterday. They beat Australia, the number 2 ranked team, today. And then they took New Zealand right down to the wire, the number 1 ranked team in the world. It was outstanding. And the games are so entertaining. I'm telling you, I don't know, Connor, if you watch much of it or not, but man, I'm telling you, Williams' play at the end of the first half against Australia was just brilliant, right? They had the late foul. There's no time left. Boom. They get the ball, quick touch, self-touch to herself, basically runs the length of the field. Huge try. And then you look at Canada, like their comeback in the second half against France. They come back from a 12-0 deficit against Australia. They're down to New Zealand. Then they go ahead. They score 2 tries late in the first half. And you're like, oh my goodness, maybe they're into this thing. And, it wasn't meant to be. But man, I've had such more of an appreciation for rugby ever since I watched my sister play when she played for the Pandas at the U of A, and that was the first time. It's actually ended up playing for the Druids too, but I watched it up close, and that's really where I was like, damn, like this game is physical. It is tough. Like my wife's never really seen rugby, and she's watched. She's like, oh my God, like these girls are powerhouses, like strong. Piper, like her, not only is she fast, her ability to go lateral quickly is what's super impressive to me. So I don't know. Did you watch any of it?
I got a chance to watch the gold medal game. We had it on in studio here, which always a nice little bonus to have. But you're right, and it's just a fun game. 2 7-minute halves. Like you're not locked in for the long haul of a typical rugby game, and you've got to have an appreciation for those athletes and what they do. Declan Kruger and I were talking about it yesterday during one of the breaks. Like both of us played a little high school football, stayed away from the rugby field. Oh, there's no protection. Maybe we'll stay away from that one.
It actually it teaches you a little bit better fundamentals.
It's form tackling at its finest. Like they know how to tackle properly. They don't have the helmet as a weapon, and they can't launch themselves into it without any or some repercussions. So it's a great sport for sure. I like tuning in, especially at the Olympics here for the sevens.
Like that interception by Alicia Corrigan late in the first half was outstanding. Like. And to me, it gave you so much energy. You're thinking, hey, like here they are against the best team in the world, and they're giving them everything they got. So, obviously the best rugby result ever at the Olympics for Canada. And that's kind of been the theme here for Canadians, from fencing to judo to now rugby. We're getting lots of medals in disciplines and sports we've never medaled in, and it's fantastic. It's exciting to watch. So hopefully you check it out. And I always try to tell people, encourage your kids to watch some of these sports, and maybe, you know what, all of a sudden they're like, hey, I want to try that. And that's really how any sport grows, is by getting more participation at the grassroots level of kids who all of a sudden, you know what, maybe you're a track athlete and you're pretty fast running, you never even thought of rugby. Get it now. Obviously you got to get the fundamentals and you got to learn how to tackle. But I will say, rugby, now my limited experience with rugby is the people in that community are very open to wanting to educate and help people who want to play. It's you're not very good. Well, who cares? No, that's not how it is at all. So I highly recommend it to check it out. So it was fun. It was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to more of the events coming up for Canada. A tough 4th place finish in the pool today. That's always, oh man, like I've always said it in sports, even like losing a Stanley Cup is pretty tough for sure. But you're in the Olympics. It's the world. There's so many countries. and you're fourth. And in a lot of cases, you're fourth by, we've seen people lose it by 100th of a second. It can be gut wrenching, to say the least. So I love it. It's fun. I enjoy it. It can be heartbreaking at the same time, but either way, it's fun to watch. And you to watch Kylie Massey, who came up just shy in the 100-meter backstroke final. She was leading at the turn, and she went out super fast, and that's kind of what she had to do, and just got caught near the end. Unfortunately, misses the podium, but the hell of a performance. And Ingrid Wilm, I think she finished sixth. So, geez, like that final was unique because you had two people from France, 2 Canadians, 2 Australians, and 2 Americans. So obviously those 4 nations doing pretty well in the pool right now. Coming up on the show today, we got a great lineup for you. Very much looking forward to hearing from the Elks general manager, G. Roy Simon, because we're going to get into the conversation. Like, why did it take this long for Trey Ford? There's got to be an answer, and we'll try to find one. Steve Hogle will join us. So back-to-back GMs in the first hour. The Riverhawks, of course, their Home's regular season is wrapped up, but their playoffs at home, not done. Like, they'd have to be catastrophic on this road trip, which I don't see happening. Then we're going to have another GM from the first time as the GM of the Utah Hockey Club. Bill Armstrong will join us, and we'll talk about his team in a new city now with a new owner, but also, are you somebody who's really into analytics? You want to give it a go? Work for an NHL team? We'll tell you how coming up at 3:00. So you want to stay tuned for that. Dave McCarthy, Terry Ryan will be by. Also, DVD. We'll hear from Struds. He's back. Did you and Struds go on vacation together? It's kind of nice.
Well, family trip, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So both of you back from your holidays. So Struddy will be back. Spec, as always, we'll take your text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, did you happen to see the bronze medal game? Where, the U.S. on the last play of the game, Cons, I don't know if you saw that one, but that's unreal. Like, I'm telling you, the Rugby Sevens women's, the games, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final, the medal games, they did not disappoint. They were highly, highly entertaining. So it's fantastic. So I look at, Greg said, do you like 7s or 15s? Well, they're different. It's hard to say which one I like better. Rugby 7s is quicker. Obviously, the games are much shorter. So it's a totally different style. I think what Rugby 7s does is it just opens up the opportunity for more people to play. Because some body types are better suited for Rugby 7s than they are rugby, right? And the normal 15. So that's why I know that some people will say they like 7s better. The game's shorter, right? It's a little bit quicker and how they run it. I understand that. But I also get the long-standing history of rugby. And there is something about you get in those scrums and you have both on the men's and the women's side, man. Like, you've got some absolute beasts as far as strength and size. And I'm like, that game is no joke. I don't care if you're playing for the men or for the women. The star players and that they've just run over people. It's impressive. It really is. If you've never been to a high level rugby match, like any sport, I always recommend doing it. It'd be like, I think seeing swimming live in person would give you a much better understanding of just how fast they're going. Because then you could go and try to swim it yourself. Like I've seen some people say, oh, I think I'd do pretty good in the pool. I'm like, pardon? Like, where did you swim last? I was pretty good at 12. I'm telling you, it is. As a discipline, like swimming and doing it well has to be one of the harder things to do. Like you can run. Now, some people are just naturally faster. I get it. But look at people who just run and then people who just swim. Like there's very few people who just swim well. You can run and maybe not be fast and have decent form. You're just not very fast. But you watch people swimming. They got the dog paddlers. You know, they don't want to put their head in the water. You got like me. You're trying to breathe out and breathe in at the same time. Like it's embarrassing. At least it was for me. Like to learn how to swim properly. Now you get people who do it at a young age. Like anything, it helps. But and I don't know. Swimming to me is one of the best workouts I've ever done. I've never slept better than that, except last night, Connor Halley. So I at the start of this month, I was like, you know what? I kind of fell off the train when it came to, to being in good shape and healthy and everything like that. So not terrible, but for me, I have a standard that I like to keep. And obviously with my father passing away young, it's always in the back of my mind. So I was like, I got to get back on track. So I cut out all the sugar and the sweets, which anybody who knows me knows it's really hard. And I went to my friend Jill and Cam's wedding, and they had these cupcakes. My son's like, Dad, these are the greatest cupcakes I've ever had. And I'm just like, why? Why are you such a little, you know what? No, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. And, but anyway, so I mean, working out again, the Peloton, enjoying it, like the workouts, doing lots of different things, but I need to, some relaxation. So I've started doing yoga. And, but last night I went to a sunset yoga, 40 degrees. It was pretty warm. And so Sean shows up he's like a substitute teacher. And Sean's he's got to be close to 60. Well, Sean's in there and he's like some yogi guru. We're doing all these moves. Now, I am like the newbie of newbies of yoga. I barely know, like I know the downward, like sometimes he'll be saying the pose and I'm like, I got to look up. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what pose you're doing. Like there's all these weird pose names. Like I know downward dog, like probably most of you, right? The baby pose, happy baby. I know those, like the very elementary ones. But we're doing poses where, you're on the downward dog. Now you're lifting up your back leg. And then the next thing you know, you're letting it open to the side because it's opening up your hips and it's firing your glutes and all these things. And you're not doing it fast. And I think the misconception is, well, if you're not doing it with weight, it's not that hard. Well, the next thing you know, now you're on like two hands and one leg. And now your leg's out to the side and you're trying to balance it. And oh my God, like my glutes are like just on fire. And I had to put my knee down a few times. I'm not ready to do it. Like I'm the beginner. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like, look at this guy up here. He's on like one hand and bouncing on one leg. It's what are you trying out for breaking right now? The break dancers, because you see those moves in break dancing. And so like I've done yoga before, but I'd never done that one. Like I just signed up because I was the time of the day. And I like to go in the hotter room if I can. It gets a little sweat on. It's good. I feel I sleep better. But that was like challenging yoga. And I'm like, oh my God, like the balance was difficult enough. Like, obviously I'm not doing much of the flexibility. So I don't know, Cons, if you've ever done any sort of kind of movement. Like I don't like the yin yoga where you hold poses for a long time. That's not me. I don't like it. Probably because I'm not very flexible. So everything is screaming when I do it. And I don't know, I kind of find it's boring. I don't really like it, but this type of yoga, I'm in.
Like you, I'm also like we just moved in. Well noted. Got the treadmill set up last night, Gregor. Did a little bit of a walk/jog because it's been a while, which was very nice. So like you, I slept great. I've never been to a yoga class, but I had people recommend it for sleep purposes. They say go on YouTube, find a video, do it in your living room. And I've done that before, but I've never made that next step into an actual class for it.
Well, you should try it out. I might highly recommend it. So Sean, shout out. It was very humbling to watch someone who obviously clearly is, he says he's only been teaching for a year. He just got into it. I'm like, good for you. But I quite liked it. So any of you yogi people out there, if you're looking for a little challenge, if you're not one, step it up. It's fun. Hey, guys, see that they have 3-on-3 basketball, 7 rugby, flag football. What about 3-on-3 hockey from working on his name on the text his name on the text line? It's a good question. If they do 3-on-3 hockey, I would do it on a smaller ice surface. 3-on-3 hockey on a full ice rink for a whole time. Like, obviously, you'd have to have shorter periods for sure. So you do some things different. I could see it. Like, look at 3-on-3 basketball. They're not playing the whole court. Right? Rugby sevens isn't on the same size pitch as the rugby, nor should it be. So if you're going to do 3-on-3 hockey, and it's on a smaller surface. All right. Now the problem is now I guess you could just do an ice rink and go from the one far blue line to the end, right? You could do that. I'm not sure you need like a full ice 3-on-3. Like I like overtime, but after a while, now I think they got to change the rule. I would have the no over and back. I don't like it at all. I think it's become too defensive. There's too long of stretches in 3-on-3 that are now boring. Where it used to be like end to end, here we go, goal. But if you watch 3-on-3, it'd have to be a shorter game, just like you have in basketball and just like you have in rugby. So I think you could do it. It would definitely be a different type of skill set than regular hockey because it's probably not going to be as much contact, right? So smaller, shiftier players probably could perform there a little bit better. I understand it. Makes sense. So I would, I'd be for it. Why not? Hockey needs to try to expand as much as they can to grow the game. I think they'd be foolish not to consider it. Right? Like we know there's the 3x3 league they've started. And so you need to get more interest in it. I would look at it. I think it would work. But you have to understand that it can't be full ice 3-on-3. I don't think that'd go over well after a while. Maybe I'm wrong. Ask you as a viewer. You've seen 5-on-5 on the full surface. Do you need to see 3-on-3? Like, it's got to be something different to allow for a different type of skill set. So I think it could be quite good. Hey, Greg's, check out Yoga with Adrian on YouTube, all levels for a specific purpose. Yeah, I like the hot room, though, Stu. I have to admit, like that, the part of me, I get that good sweat on. I'm about as flexible as a crowbar. So when I got the heat on, I found I'm a little bit more limber. So it's better. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey guys, we have a Canadian Rugby Hall of Famer in Edmonton, Davy Graham, founding member of the Edmonton Klansmen, inducted 2 years ago in the Builders category. That comes from his son, Davy Jr. Well said. Yes. Very. You know what? We might have to get him on. I'd love to talk to Davy. That'd be great. So hook it up. Send me an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. You know what? I've had such an appreciation of rugby ever since my buddy Brownie got me introduced to it. Like I'd watched the games with my sister, but then I went and watched games with Brownie and Jeremy and those guys. And I met some beauty people in the rugby community, man. They can drink beers way too fast though. Like I'm not a big beer chugger. And like I'm a decent sized guy. I'm not overly thick though. You go to rugby and it's like, oh my God. Like every guy is barrel chested there. Like you are thick. There's not many long, lean 185. Like I was pretty quick. I might be able to play the outside position. That'll be my only hope. Right? But not at this stage of my life, that's for sure. Quick break. When we come back, G. Roy Simon. We'll talk in Trey Ford, who, by the way, will be starting for the green and gold. No surprise. We talked about this yesterday. Like you'd have to be, I can't even use the word, but we all knew Trey Ford was starting. We mentioned it yesterday, and we'll talk to G. Roy Simon about that and many other things next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Cheesy Burger Pizza at Papa John's.
It seems the price of everything is redonkulous. So at Wolf GMC Buick, we're trying to make it easy on your wallet. We have a huge selection of GMCs with finance rates starting at 0%. Wait, did I just say 0%? I did. And why am I talking to myself? Oh boy. The prices are fantastic, selection top notch, and the vehicles? Well, you already know that they're stellar. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now, just off the Anthony Henday. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job, sir. The men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hey, Leduc, can leading edge physiotherapy help you? Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, strain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems that we can help in leading edge physio in under 30 seconds, and I can't promise we fix everyone. But I can promise that we'll combine our experience, skills, technology, and hands-on care to give you an edge. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Hey, Elks fans!
Jackpot! Touchdown!
Get on the Elks party bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With 525 Heineken.
Their first major trophy.
It's the ultimate
Football
experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave in 118th.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And nothing moves Albertans better than Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Here now with rates as low as 0% or savings up to $17,000. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. 0% or $17,000 off F-150s. Only at Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Take your golf game from good to great at the Country Club Tour Golf Academy.
With guidance from their PGA of Canada Class A teaching pros, I've taken my swing from shaky to solid.
The video analysis and tailored practice plans seriously upped my game.
And with access to both indoor and outdoor facilities, I'll never miss a lesson.
Sign up for the Country Club Tour Golf Academy. From beginner training to advanced fine-tuning, we've got you covered.
Perfect your play at CCT.
Register now at countryclubtour.com.
I see your dirty face behind your collar. What is done in vain? Truth is hard to swallow, so you pray to God, justify the way.
$2:23 on a busy Tuesday afternoon, man. It's like our GM show. We got GM in football, GM in baseball, GM in hockey, our first three guests of the day today. So nice. I like it. We'll kick it off with a little football as we get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. If all of a sudden your AC conks out, you got the SWAS, and you're like, I need it fixed right away. Weekends, late at nights, call them. They'll come fix it. No overtime charges. I tell you, Bill Legacy at legacyheating.ca, as we are welcomed once again by the interim general manager of the Edmonton Elks, G. Roy Simon. G. Roy, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm great. How's it going?
I'm good. So since you took over as the intern GM, your assistant GM, kind of what's the biggest change for you in the day-to-day role?
Well, I would say the biggest change is dealing with the coaches on a regular basis, trying to give them everything they need, and then making the final decision on, roster changes, who's going to play, who's not going to play, things like that. That's probably the biggest change. The majority of things that have been the same, but I would say those are the biggest changes, dealing with the coaches and having the final say on a lot of things, football operations. So
now, would you have a final say on who's starting at a position, or is that still up to the coaches?
Well, I mean, at the end, you want to give the coach the flexibility to say who he wants to start. But yeah, it's more the coach's decision on that. But I would have some input.
Okay. Because the big question, G. Roy, is Trey Ford, and you know what? They're 0-8 last year to start. Trey Ford comes in, the 4-6. And, the run game's good. The passing game's decent. And, at least you win 400% more of your games. This year it starts out 0-6 and really 0-7 because he didn't start that game. But he comes in under 10 minutes, orchestrates 3 touchdown drives. Now, I know some people are going to say, it's garbage time, whatever. Well, Hamilton still had majority of their starters in. And Trey Ford's playing to want to make an impression. What was the organization reason as to why Trey Ford wasn't on the field before the final 10 minutes of Game 7?
Well, that's a coach decision, and again, in game, I'm not gonna run downstairs and tell Jarius what to do as far as who plays and who doesn't play in game. But Trey did. He came in and gave us a spark. You can see the talent level. You can see obviously the excitement he brings to a game. And when he got in, he did a great job.
So, Chris Jones, your predecessor, is it fair to say that he had a big say then a little bit? And, maybe you guys have a different viewpoint on Trey Ford?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, we've moved on from Chris and whatever happened in the past is what happened in the past, but we're moving forward. Trey's going to get an opportunity to play and he's going to have a bigger role in what we do moving forward. So, we'll leave the past in the past as far as what happened with Trey and Chris and all the other stuff.
So when you say he's going to get an opportunity to play and have a bigger opportunity to be involved, G-Roy, like when you look at where your team is, you're 0-7. You've got a 36-year-old quarterback, and then you got a young guy who's only made 10 CFL starts. Like if you're looking to rebuild, is it safe to say that you got to give Trey Ford here a long look and see what you've got here in a young quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, again, Trey's going to get an opportunity. He's a young guy that brings a lot of excitement and brings a lot of hope not only to the team but to this community. And he's going to get it. He's going to get a shot.
What about Ford when you watch that game and you played for a long time, G-Roy? Like there's something to be said. Like you can't really teach athleticism, right? Like we had Warren Moon on the show yesterday, and he talked about when he came in. He goes, the Eskimos back then were good because they played to his strength. They let him throw the ball on the run. He wasn't a great pocket passer. His words, not mine. But then he evolved into that. He goes, it's hard to be a young quarterback and just be a really good pocket passer right away. So how do you work with Ford? I know there's no clear blueprint on how to help develop a QB other than he's just got to get reps.
Yeah, I mean, I play with a guy that I played with a few guys that had athleticism like Trey. Not exactly the speed that he has, but I played with Damon Allen for a little bit of time, and then I played with Casey Printers. And the young quarterbacks like Casey, like Trey, you got to give them the opportunity to play. You have to accept that the youth is going to show at times, but with that being said, the athleticism is undeniable. He's an electric guy. And when he gets on the field, he's going to give us a chance to make big plays. It won't be, your traditional drop back, and throw on timing. It's going to be, there will be some of that because you can see his growth when he got on the field, but you can also bet that there's going to be some off target plays where he's going to run around and make a play. So that brings excitement and that brings a lot of energy to our team and we got to take advantage of that.
G-Roy Simon, intern GM of the Edmonton Elks, joins us. And G-Roy, I was in the crowd last game, and it was monumental, the difference in just the excitement. You mentioned the word hope for the organization. I know it was late in the game, but just the energy on the sidelines, everything seemed to change. Like Trey Ford made 2 absolutely ridiculous plays in those 9 minutes. The one, scrambling, evading, and then rolling to his left, throwing across his body, great play, and then the other scramble. Like you've been in a huddle. Can you describe when you have a quarterback like that can make plays, that extends drives, keeps guys, no one's talking about an offensive lineman getting beat when Trey Ford rushes for 15 yards, right? Like there's lots of ways he can help the team that maybe are bigger than just first downs.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like there's gonna be plays that you're not expected to get the ball, but when a guy like Trey's in the game, everyone's live, and you're live all the time because he can make every throw. He can throw. He can throw a wide side out. He can throw a wide side comeback. He can throw a wide side, go ball. But he can also run around and do that at the same time. And he doesn't have to have his feet set. He doesn't, he doesn't have to be the traditional type quarterback. He can do it, stand in the pocket. He can do it from running full speed, running to his left and throwing back right. Again, there's going to be plays that aren't going to be drawn up.
Yeah.
But there's going to be plays that you're going to be like, you're going to be saying no, and then yes at the end of them. So again, he's a guy that he plays outside the box. He plays outside the parameters of what's drawn up. But he's a guy that in the end he finds a way to make plays and help you win games. So you got to give him that opportunity.
G-Roy Simon joins us now. G-Roy, this might not be one you can answer because obviously you're not the coach or the GM. But, Warren Moon mentioned about how, incorporating things that Trey Ford's done in the past into your offense that he was successful and comfortable with. And that's the best way to allow guys to have success early. Did you see that last year in his 10 games? And is there maybe now that he has a little bit more experience, whether it's in film work or watching these few games, are there specific things that the offense might do different because that's what Trey Ford is really good at?
Yeah, and that's where, with me and my past experience in being a player, I can speak to, I can watch the film and say, okay, this is what I've noticed that he's comfortable, and that's what I can talk to the coaches about. I'm not necessarily, telling them to draw up specific plays, but I can say, these are the type things that he's comfortable with and just do those things. So yeah, I have a little bit of experience with again, I played a long time, so I understand offense. I understand, what makes defenses uncomfortable, and that's where I can speak to a Jarius or a Marcus and Coach Charles and say, let's design these type of plays because those are the plays that, one, he's comfortable with, but two, they make defenses, less comfortable.
G-Roy Simon joins. So G-Roy, looking at the rest of your team, like it's not like one quarterback's going to come in and instantly change everything. You look at your defense lately, and you've been giving up a lot of plays in the middle of the field. What do you see in there? How do you eliminate those big plays down the middle of the field?
Well, I think this past week we had a couple injuries that hurt us, and they just in the end the defense has to put together a better plan, and that's Coach Shives is working hard to come up with different ways of protecting the middle of the field, but in the end it's big plays all together. If you eliminate the big plays, minimize those and keep teams out of the end zone, we'll have our shot to win games.
How difficult is it? Like, you don't want to just have an airlift of guys coming in all the time, but when you look at the overall talent level of your team right now, G-Roy, are there some positions that you and your scouts are looking at really trying to upgrade over the next few weeks? Is that possible at this time of the year?
Well, we've done in the past. We've brought guys in and out, on a weekly basis, and if you know anything about where I'm from and who I've learned from, that's not my style.
Yeah.
Feel like we have good players. We just have young players. We have players that are very new to one another, and in order to turn this thing around, we have to become a team. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach these guys, and because physically, they have elite qualities, but they have to learn, one, they have to learn to play together and learn how to become a team.
It's obviously more difficult when you're always losing, right? Like even one win can change a lot for any team at any point in the season, especially when you have young guys. Like there is something about, winning's contagious, but losing can be contagious at the same time. Is there any way other than winning to try to keep, positivity around the room?
The funny thing is this group is very positive. One thing I talk to the coaches about is continually being positive, continue to give a positive message, continue to teach, because again, these are young guys. They're new to one another, and browbeating them and being negative and things like that isn't going to help the cause. We're going to continue to teach and there will be some changes, moving forward, but it's going to be slow. And we're not gonna try to, bring in, someone to be Superman. We're gonna teach these guys and develop and work to, again, become a team and start winning games.
G-Roy, we appreciate your time. Best of luck, and we look forward to seeing Trey Ford get his first start of the season Saturday in Saskatchewan.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
There is a intern general manager of the Elks, G-Roy Simon. And, we're hoping, later this week, probably on Friday, I think, just based on scheduling and stuff, maybe Thursday, to talk to Jarius Jackson about Trey Ford. He's, was taking number one reps today, as he should be. And we'll be starting Saturday in Regina. And I can tell you from talking to people at the game, from online, from text to this show at 833-401-1440. There will be people who will watch simply because Trey Ford's exciting. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have, if you don't have a winning product, you have to at least give your fans hope to believe that it's entertaining and, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, the tunnel's pretty long right now, and right now it's pretty dark. There's no doubt about that. Like, what are they, 8-35 in their last 43 games? It's less than ideal. We know that. So you got to give them something to be like, hey, I'm a football fan. I support the green and gold. I'll still keep going. Here's why. And I think they had that last year at the end of the season with Trey Ford. They had it. And then Chris Jones, he wasn't a Trey Ford guy, and it cost him his job. And honestly, it's probably cost him any opportunity to be a GM in the league again. Like, why would anybody hire Chris Jones to be a general manager again in the CFL? Give me one reason why you do it. Now, you could hire him to be a coach, sure, but not the GM, because when he does both, it doesn't go well. That's not an opinion. That is simply statistics based on his record as a head coach and GM. It's awful. In Edmonton, they were 8-33 with Jones as a head coach and GM. Not remotely good enough. Now, one team who has been really good, and they are now embarking on a 9-game road trip to end the regular season. And they just had a big series win over the first place Wenatchee, winning 2 out of 3. The Riverhawks, who set a West Coast League attendance record, breaking their own record, which they set last year. So they continue to know how to get fans in the stands. They have a good team. They weren't a dominant team last year. They were okay. This year, they're a better team. We'll talk to their GM next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the Cheesy Burger Trio or choose between the large Cheesy Burger Pizza for $18.99, Cheesy Burger Papadilla for $9.99, and Bacon Cheesy Burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Albatross Roofing and Construction has immediate job openings for skilled flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators and installers. If you have SBS modified bitumen experience and CSTS certification, they want you. Get a great wage, benefits, steady work, and upward growth. Apply at roofingalbatross.ca today.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Rule number 37. Elk Island mosquitoes don't believe in personal space. Keep bug spray ready at all times. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Here's Dr. Vance Elliott to talk about advanced hair and skin surgeries, your website.
We needed to spruce things up a bit and give it a modern look.
Sounds like your website needed a little surgery.
Exactly. It's easier to navigate, much more user-friendly, has an updated patient gallery, and answers to the most commonly asked questions.
There's even a section about you.
I want you to know my story, so you'll be confident that I'm the right doctor to help shape your story.
To learn more, check out the new website at drvanceelliott.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Get your Elks Party Bus tickets now. $35 includes a game ticket, ride there and back, access to the lower bowl party deck, and prepaid Coors Light. Book your ticket now at OnTheRocksEdmonton.com, Jasper Ave, and 118th.
Mr. Cab Driver.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as it's time to go in the community, brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Want to stay in the game? Go to Leading Edge Physio, whether it's in Spruce Grove, Sherwood Park, St. Albert, Leduc, or Edmonton. They've got you covered. Sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com will ensure it doesn't. As we are joined by the GM of the Edmonton Riverhawks, Steve Hogle, joins us. And Steve, congratulations is in order. You set an attendance record last year, and then you broke it this season. Over 160,000 fans through the gates this year. I was there for the final home game with my son, and I noticed even your post-game activities have raised the bar. You had the sprinkler on because it was so hot. You had a slip and slide. You had guys, I don't even know what those guys were on that. They're on the unicycle, but it's the one where you stand up on. I don't even know the proper term. And they're pulling kids around on the carts. And my son, who's 10, got it. He's like, Dad, that's unreal. What is that called, by the way?
That is your electric unicycle,
Okay.
and that is Yeg Wheel, and
Okay.
it's this funky little community that is a regular down here, and they're just so much fun.
Oh man, like that was such a gret idea. So clearly, like, who gave you that idea, Steve? That's what I want to know, because I don't know if
Well,
it came from you.
So Terry O'Neill is the guy who runs Yeg Wheel.
Yeah.
His son, Hugh O'Neill, former kicker for the
Okay.
then Eskimos, works for us, runs ticketing here.
Yeah.
And so there's a logical connection, and you see an opportunity, and let's blow it wide open and have the whole crew down here.
Now, is Hugh still rocking the long beard?
He is not. He
Okay.
is not. We called that up in the during the season. We challenged him to grow it, but it was too flippin' hot to have that big monster beard. But yeah, absolutely legendary facial hair.
It was very good. So you know what, your team this year, like, and I was saying in the last one, like, obviously you want a winning team. That's going to help any organization attract fans. But you guys set a record with not a dominant team last year, and obviously you're much more competitive. So give me the update. You got 9 regular season games left. Like, it has to be a catastrophe for you not to make the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, you're dead on. And so we ended up the first half of the season tied for first place. And with that comes a playoff spot. We lost that playoff spot to Wenatchee because they had a slightly better home winning percentage. And then we go into the second half. We're not in contention for the second half pennant, which comes with another playoff spot. But we are currently sitting in one of the other 2 playoff spots, which come with the best next overall season winning percentage for those teams that are not either the first or second division winners. Hopefully that's clear. It's a little complicated, but we should have at least one playoff game here.
Well, I'm basically looking at it. And by the way, you're not that far. You're only 2 games out in the second half. You guys go on a run.
It's a little bit of a log jam. There's some real important games this road trip.
Yeah, but basically it's Nanaimo, the Night Owls. They're 6 wins behind you. They played 45 games. You guys have played 45. So that's the team that would have to knock you. So you'd have to lose 6 games to them basically over your final 9. If you win 4 games, you're pretty much a lock if they win everything.
Yeah, absolutely. If we win our series, we're golden. We're golden. We're going to have the playoffs start on Saturday, August 10th.
Okay.
And that's the divisional series. So we should be in those, and hopefully we just keep on rolling, and then we'll see how it all plays out.
And dude, like this year you had 5 players drafted, 1 signed as an undrafted free agent. And you lose a lot of players, and that's just how the league is. It's kind of like they get called up if you're an American League team, and suddenly the NHL team calls up some of your guys. Now, I know it's not going to MLB directly, but essentially you can lose some guys during the season. You work with your coaching staff. Do you kind of prepare for that a little bit, even a month in advance, looking and say, hey, we think these guys are going to get drafted, so we better start planning to have some backups that we can sign if they leave?
Yes, exactly. Going in, it's going to be a little bit of a juggling act. It's the most wacky, fluid rosters I've ever seen in sport, because at the start of the year, you could have some guys arriving late because their school team may be going deep in the playoffs. And then, like you say, the MLB draft happens and you lose some guys in a hurry there. And then towards the end of the season, some guys have to get back to their school teams because they want to get ready for the school year, or pitchers have hit their pitch counts. So it is a constant juggling act. The only consolation for us is that every other team in the league goes through it.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's not like it's just specific, but when you're a good team, you lose a few more players. That's the challenge.
Absolutely. And it's not just by happen chance that we've become a really competitive team in really short order. Players talk, and they're used to playing in front of 200-300 people down in the States with their school teams. They come up here, Canada Day, they're playing in front of 9,000 fans. And so they say, if you want to play summer ball, if you want to play in the West Coast League, Edmonton is unbelievable to play in. They've got a drop-dead gorgeous facility. There's tons of fans. It's so much fun. And the city's great. And so, so by osmosis, more and more people are reaching out and saying, I want to play in Edmonton. And so, and the players love it. Like, they get involved in the contests. You saw them come into the stands, throwing balls into the stands, and participating in running races and stuff like that. So they love it as much as the fans do.
Yeah, well, I could see why. It's a fantastic facility. And
absolutely.
Well, when it's hot out, though, those top 6 rows in the those might be the top 6 rows. You got to put a price point on, because oh my God, man, I was leaking hard sitting in the crowd.
Yeah, and thus the sprinklers coming on in the outfield. Exactly.
Steve Hogle joins us, GM of the Riverhawks. Overall, Steve, there were some rumblings early that maybe people are looking. Oh, now Edmonton's being considered as for other leagues. I don't even see that being, plausible, considering any real connection to MLB. Do you? Like, is it just the distance is too far?
And that was part of the reason we lost the Trappers way back when, was the travel coming across the border. And, you would think that if something was percolating that you would need to come in as a package of teams almost, like a Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, to make it worthwhile for a league to have teams go north of the border. And there have been some overtures. We've been too busy to even respond. So, we'll have some discussions in the offseason. Who the heck knows where it goes, if anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's just a huge compliment to what's going on here in the city.
You look at, you're always looking to improve, Steve. So now that the regular season's over, is there anything that you'd like to do better as an organization?
Absolutely. When we get a crowd of 9,000, so we had to turn people away at the door on Canada Day. We had a tough time finding a seat for everybody on Canada Day. Yeah. This facility is not built to handle a crowd that big, to be honest. And so we've got to get better handling those big crowds. And so whether that means food trucks, we'll never do a Canada Day the same way again. Okay. Our next Canada Day will be assigned seating throughout the whole stadium.
Makes sense.
And we're looking at that, doing that regularly and more often. Hand in hand with that, how can we get better on F&B? Do we have a little village of food trucks that can complement our F&B? We've got to get creative in terms of handling these bigger crowds, because obviously people are having a heck of a good time down here, and we want to make sure they do that. And we managed to buy a little bit of time, saying we've never faced this before, because we hit these firsts time and time again. Mm-hmm. But you can only do that so long. People are going to be telling us, figure it out. And we get that, and we want to figure it out.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that people who come down here, they all have a great time.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And I think that's great to hear, because I know that was some fans saying, hey, I'd like an assigned seat, and I know what it is. And if if there's $1 more for one section or the other, that's what it is. I know you got Randy Gregg's talked about it many times as ownership. You want to keep prices affordable. That's a key thing for having people come back. And you I know you had the River Valley Club, but you've extended that now. You kind of have those on both sides of the stadium.
Yeah, we've kept on expanding the premium areas, and we've really run out of real estate for that. But we've got the Alley Cat Party Pen on the one side, and we've got Delta Valley Patio on the other side. Great facilities. We've got home plate lounge and those balcony boxes. So, I talked to the league earlier this year, could we carve part of the outfield, a party pen into part of the outfield, and have the warning track around it. There's all sorts of implications that come with that. Mm-hmm. We're on sacred ground down here in Treaty 6, so you can't just put pilings into the ground. So that's probably a lot of red tape to cut through, and logistics and costs. So we got to keep on throwing stuff against the wall and see what might make sense. But how can we keep on growing, especially those premium areas? And you're right, we want to keep that $20 ticket sacred. We want that accessible for people. That's the general admission adult ticket. Kids half that price, senior $15. But we want to keep those prices affordable in parts of the stadium for sure. But what else can we do to grow those premium areas that are so hugely popular, and we can't satisfy the demand right now?
Steve Hogle joins us, GM of the Edmonton Riverhawks, and you're into Victoria, in Victoria tonight, tomorrow and Thursday, then Port Angeles Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you finish up with 3 games against Nanaimo, which depending on how the first 6 go, could be big or mean nothing. But it looks like, so if you do what you expect, and even if you win 5 of these 9 road games, then you for sure could host on game on the Saturday. But if you go on a red hot winning streak here and win the second half, you would start your games would be the Sunday, Monday, correct? Because then you'd be the home team?
That's right. We'd be the home host team, and we'd get the second and third games of the best of three series for sure. And it's interesting, I've been talking to some of the other GMs in the league and whatnot, and they're in baseball centric markets, and so when it comes to baseball time or playoff time, it's all about the baseball. And up here with hockey, like a lot of the sponsorships end and the promotions end, and it's all about the playoff hockey. Well, here, our calling card is the party. Mm-hmm. So I've said to them, we're keeping the party going, because it's more than just baseball. It's fantastic baseball, but we still want the bigger event to go with it. And we're still going to have a ton of fun doing things while respecting the integrity of the game.
Steve, great stuff. Best of luck on the road trip, and we will see you either on the 10th or the 11th of August.
Sounds awesome. Thanks so much, Jace.
There you go. That is Steve Hogle, the GM of the Edmonton Riverhawks, who have been extremely successful off the field, setting attendance records, but also on the field as they currently have they're in the second half. Like Bellingham and Wenatchee are 11-7, Victoria and Port Angeles are 10-8, and the Riverhawks are 9-9. They're right. So they're 2 games back. They got 9 games to go. They're all on the road now. They do. Their first series, as I mentioned, they're opening up, and they are in Victoria tonight. And Victoria is currently, as I mentioned, they're 10-8, so that'll be a tough one. Then they play Port Angeles. They're also 10-8, and then they finish up against Nanaimo, who's 9-9. So you know what? They're playing some of the teams that they'll be competing with if they want to win the second half. And again, they don't have to, because it's the overall record of the top 4 teams in the North Division. And Wenatchee, 29 wins, Bellingham, 28, Edmonton, 27. So they, what's crazy is, depending on how things shape out, they could actually have the most wins, but still be considered the road team on most wins in the season. But if they don't win the first or second half, then they start on the road. Start at home for game 1, but then they won't get games 2 and 3. So it's kind of weird. Coming up, another GM, this time in hockey. He's been a GM in the NHL, but it's his first time as a GM of the Utah Hockey Club, of course, as they relocated from Arizona to Utah. We'll talk about Bill Armstrong, what he's doing for his new owner, and the fact that you could be working for him. Yes, an opportunity for you diehard hockey fans who are interested in wanting to work for an NHL team. We'll tell you how after a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Stop in. One of your faves is back. The Watermelon Wave. Only for a limited time. Download the Boosters Reward app and get one today. Only at Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Canada has taken silver in the women's rugby 7 at the Paris Olympics after losing 19-12 to New Zealand in the championship game earlier today. Canada's previous best finish in rugby 7 was brought at the Rio Games, where they finished in third. Twin sisters Catherine and Michelle Bluth combined for 18 points as Canada opened its run at the Olympics with a 3-on-3 victory over Australia, 22-14. Next opponent will be China on Wednesday, and RJ Barrett had a game-high 24 points for Canada as they improved to 2-0 in group play with a 93-83 victory over Australia. They're back in action on Friday, taking on Spain at 9:15 a.m. The Calgary Flames signed restricted free agent goaltender Dustin Wolf to a 2-year contract worth $1.7 million. Wolf had a 3.16 goals against average and 8.93 save percentage in 17 games with the Flames last season. And for the CFL, the Montreal Alouettes announcing quarterback Cody Fajardo returning to practice today after being removed from the 6-game injured list. He was there on July 11th in the loss of the Argos when he left the game due to a hamstring injury. And Major League Baseball trade deadline, we're about an hour away. On the field, the Jays are in Baltimore taking on the Orioles. First pitch, 4:35. The Yankees in Philly. Rays host the Marlins. The Red Sox up against the Mariners. Braves travel to Milwaukee. And you got the Astros hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by the general manager of the Utah Hockey Club, Bill Armstrong, as well as Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM and former NHLer Terry Ryan. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
is Sports 1440,
A Stingray radio station.
broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
You see us working on the Yellowhead. You see us working on the LRT West project over on 104th Avenue. But what are we doing? We are GS Construction, and we're moving, upgrading, and repairing all of that underground infrastructure so that other work can go on. Things like maintaining water, wastewater, and stormwater draining services. Things you may take for granted, but definitely need. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. Find out more by going to gsconstruction.ca.
Some people see their RV as a way to travel the countryside and explore the great outdoors. For others, it's more like a summer cottage. Sure, it's got wheels, but that doesn't mean that you have to roll it around all the time. And I know someone who uses his RV exactly like this. It's Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Hey, Rick, when was the last time you hooked up your trailer and took it somewhere?
Been years, Bob.
You just leave it in one place?
Well, you have to see our campsite. It's near Seba Beach. There's lots of privacy. It's a heavily wooded area, but very close to the lake, with full water and electrical hookup. So my wife, Deanna, and I enjoy cottage life with all its beauty and all the comforts of home.
And the RV you use as a cottage, did you buy it new?
Bob, what are you, nuts? I can happily find you an RV as nice as mine. Got dozens of them on the lot right now. And Deanna and I are living proof that you don't have to pay new RV prices to live the dream.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Hey, if you're a basketball fan, you're going to want to check out the basketball show here on Sports 1440. I'm Paul Sir, and I'll be your host every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon right here on Sports 1440.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCarthy. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Maximize your car's lifespan by performing regular maintenance services. Visit Mr. Lube for warranty-approved oil change, scheduled maintenance, and tire service. Open 7 days a week, no appointment needed. Mr. Lube in Spruce Grove is located at the corner of Century Road and McLeod Avenue, or visit MrLube.com.
If you've ever restored a classic car or seen one, you smile because you know what it took to get that beauty looking pristine. The same is true for men who restore their hair. Nothing but smiles for miles. Patients from all over Canada travel to see me, Dr. Vance Elliott, to have their hair loss treated and remedied. I've been helping people for 28 years. My practice is outfitted with the most innovative and latest hair transplant techniques and technology. And I do it myself. Contact us at drvanceelliott.com.
Summer adventures are more fun in a new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Home of the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada.
All this month, get 0% financing on all 2024 Mitsubishi models.
Plus, get up to a $3,000 trade-in bonus.
And double the loyalty rebate for all existing Mitsubishi owners, up to $1,000.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
An accident. And it wasn't your fault.
How do I get the compensation and support I need?
How do I get treatment paid for?
Why does an insurance adjuster want to meet with me?
Where do I even start with all this paperwork?
What if I never get better?
Feels like no one has my back.
Robinson LLP does. Visit RobinsonLLP.com to find your injury lawyer. Robinson LLP, the recovery team.
We roll through. Lovely Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and it is Tuesday. It's Lotto Max. $70 million up for grabs and 14 max millions. So get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And it's time to go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. And with the heat, you want to beat it? How about a $1 ice cream cone, $2 sundaes, or $2 triple thick milkshakes right now, only at McDonald's. And we welcome, not the first time on the show, but first time on the show as the general manager of the Utah Hockey Club. Of course, they are now in a new market, new ownership group, lots of new excitement, like the new jerseys. And now there's even a new opportunity for maybe it'll be you. We'll find out next as Bill Armstrong joins us. Bill, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, actually. I'm pretty good. We're going to get to Utah in a second, but I do want to talk about this opportunity that you guys are putting on. You're going to have a summer analytics challenge, and the winner is going to have an opportunity to work with you and your organization. I guess give us some details and what you're looking for and how people can get involved.
Well, it kind of started from last year. We were looking to hire in the analytical department, and we did a million of these Zoom calls and asked people to submit their work and learned a ton. And we came across a lot of good young talent. So we just said this summer, hey, look at, for our intern, our analytic intern, let's have a competition. Let's try and find the brightest young hockey analytic mind, from in North America, and bring them in as an intern. So that's the way it kind of started. And now, even you've probably got some thoughts analytically that you want to put together. You can submit it. You could be my intern. How's that sound?
Well, I don't know if I'm bright enough. I don't know if I'm bright enough for that, Bill. But what are the perks? Tell me, what are the perks here to if I get to be your intern? What are the perks I get?
Well, the perks are it's a paid position as an intern, and you join our staff remotely. You'll be involved in the meetings, and you'll get projects to do for the staff, and you'll have a little bit of input, and you'll get to see how analytical staff works in the NHL. And we've got some really bright minds already on our team, and they're a huge part of our decision-making process on and off the ice. And we depend on analytics a lot, and I think it's a really exciting time, nowadays in the NHL, you've got a host of different companies doing it, and you've got the puck and player tracking, and you throw that into skating speed, and it's moving at a great rate. And you learn so much about analytics. It gives you a different eyesight on the game. I've often said in scouting, different eyes see different things. And I believe that a little bit in analytics, where different minds think different ways. And through that, you learn a lot of different things about hockey that you never know. And the numbers are just a great thing. So that's one of our keys in our culture is to have good analytic department.
Bill Armstrong joins us. He is the general manager of the Utah Hockey Club. And Bill, the tracking data, for people who don't know it, now they have it tracking in the players, or teams have seen it. Can you give us, without giving away too much, is there something that's really kind of jumped out at you from what you've learned from that data?
Yeah. There's ways that you can measure, without giving too much away, the way the player moves on the ice and his patterns, and you can say basically, hey, listen, we've got a great centerman here. We've got a great right winger. We're looking for a left winger, who's had the most success with these two guys as the guy moves in this pattern, at this speed. And kind of has, some of the qualities that you look for in the numbers, and it helps you when you're in the free agency. I think it's certainly a new way to look at it. I think it's going to be deadly accurate in the future. And, there's bright young minds every day working at those numbers and with those, the chips in the back of jerseys, the patterns that are there. And, you can also study, the people that take the best routes to the puck at what max speed. And so it's just, there's a lot of learning in there. I don't like to break down the numbers so much.
Yeah.
I like people to do it for me and tell me this is something you should look at. Look what we found. So it's, but it is certainly getting good, and it's only getting better with the new way that they can track it with the puck and player tracking. So it's exciting times in the NHL.
Oh, for certain. And, so somebody tracks that data. Then the key is breaking it down. Like any analytics, is there can be a lot of data, but then you got to find out which ones work well and which ones might not tell you everything that you think they tell you, correct?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's overwhelming, right? Like, massive, tell me what numbers win hockey games.
Yeah.
That's what we want to know. Tell us the numbers that win the games. And that's such an important part. There's a lot of different numbers. I mean, you can measure a lot of things that don't have anything to do with really the impact on the game. And that's really the key, is defining what numbers win hockey games and getting in there and digging in hard in them. And it's kind of funny how far the NHL's come in a short period of time with analytics. And it's just, there's so much good information in there, and there's so many different companies that are doing it now. It's just a great thing. I remember reading a baseball book about blending, two different analytical companies together to get what you wanted. And that's a lot what we're doing today in the new NHL.
And for anybody who's interested, it's a maximum of 5 pages. So you want someone who can tell you good stuff in a short period of time. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. It's a maximum 5-page deliverable that needs to be done by August, or the 23rd of August. So people have just over 3 weeks now to really plan on what they want to send to you and your team. And then you will look it over, you choose the best one, and then they'll come in and be an interim basis with the Utah Hockey Club. And obviously, if it goes well, is it fair to say, Bill, if it goes well, there's a chance for them to become full-time employee?
Well, listen, I started back in the day as a part-time area scout in Boston. And I went from part-time to full-time to area scout, to head crossover to, being the head scout, and then the assistant GM to being a GM. So I'm a big believer in working your way up and earning it.
Yep.
And listen, there's certainly a ton of opportunity. If you're a bright young mind that can produce numbers that'll help the Utah Hockey Club win, we'll find a position for you. How does that sound?
Well, it's true. I love the fact, and when you start from the bottom, you learn so much about all different elements, and that allows you to be a GM. No, obviously you played the game, so you have to have that understanding, I think, as well. It doesn't mean you have to be a dominant NHL player to be a good NHL player, but learning the game of hockey.
And listen, I played in the American League back in the day. I sold tickets in the summer. I think I was the last player coach in the history of the American League. So I had a good perspective of almost what everybody does inside the organization, and I think that helps me today.
Oh, without question. Now, Bill, I have to ask you, come over Ryan Smith, everything from the outside it looks like, him and his wife, extremely passionate about hockey. They're passionate about wanting to build a competitive team. Your organization has stockpiled a lot of good young players, but there's lots of teams who have done that and never been able to take that and turn it into being a good team. Having an owner who's willing to spend money, I think, helps. No question about it. But how do you ensure that you don't just, spend and not spend wisely, and not try to speed up what you've done for the last 3 or 4 years? Is that the challenge now, or all of a sudden you're like, hey, the owner's like, Bill, let's wheel and deal. And you're like, this is great. But yeah, you have to do it kind of, with a little bit of sanity in mind.
Yes, you do. And it's a great question. The good news for us is that the Jazz, another team that Ryan and Ashley Smith own with SCG, are going through the rebuild. So, a lot of people start the rebuild. Not many teams actually finish it. And I think we're unique in the sense that, I've been through it before, St. Louis. We started from the bottom up and and built our way up. So we won a Stanley Cup, and it takes a lot of years. There's a couple teams maybe that's done it in 4 or 5 years, the Penguins, but minus those guys, it's the long haul where you make a good team that's competitive, that's trying to get into the playoffs in the 4th or 5th year. And then from there, it's trying to win a championship up into the 10 to 12 year mark. So it really takes a long process to get through. And I try to be very transparent, explaining it to our fans, like, tell me a team that's done it quicker. We didn't get Sidney Crosby at the top of the draft. We got good players. It's going to take us a little bit longer to kind of drive it up there. But, if you do it properly and, with the amount of picks we had, listen, nobody made more hay in COVID than the Coyotes did. And it set the Utah team up, with all the mass of draft picks. And we've got a pretty talented staff that's gone out and made some really good picks. And now we've got some talent coming in, not only this year, but for the next 10 years, we've got talent coming in, and it's going to be an exciting time. Obviously, there's a lot of decisions you have to make and a lot of good moves you have to make with trades to finish it off and build a championship team. But the foundation for us is there. Now we have to do that organically and let the team grow and then add some key pieces.
One of those key pieces was Mikhail Sergachev, a 2-time Stanley Cup winning young defenseman who's only 26 years of age, has already accomplished a lot in his career. And, J.J. Moser is probably an unheralded defenseman. A lot of people maybe around the league don't realize is that good. And then even Geeky's a really good young prospect. But a lot of people feel like, man, you got a legit top pairing, some would say a number one defenseman in that deal. Bill, How quick did that come about? How to make a deal like that? Like when was the first conversation that you and Brisebois had? And then how long before a deal actually comes to fruition?
Well, I told everybody that had a good D in the National Hockey League and said, hey, listen, we got to pick some prospects. What can we do? Is there something that you would move? And a lot of times it never works out, because nobody really wants to trade their best D at the time. So, but you plant some seeds and sure enough, one comes back and, Julien Brisebois, he obviously he wanted to kind of maneuver a way where he could get rid of a player and add some good young players into the mix for himself. And he did that with Geeky and Moser, tremendous players, and then able to add Genzel. So I think it was something that worked for us because we needed a good defenseman to kind of be that number one guy back there for us and be the guy that kind of runs the show for us and eats some big time minutes on the PK. He's just going to be, one of our staples back there that can help us eventually win a championship in organization because he's right at the same age as the Kellers and the Krauses and some of our, good young players that have had a few years underneath their belt. So it's coming. It's going to take some time, and we're able to add John Marino and Denlin into the mix too with Ian Cole. So where we've kind of made some strides, we're hoping to be a better team. A lot of people have picked us to kind of get in the playoffs, and I think we're going to be a good team. I can't promise the playoffs the 4th year in the rebuild, but I do believe we can take a step from last year and be a better team.
Can you describe just maybe the difference in your approach, Bill, now that you have an owner and ownership who's willing, to spend to the cap in order to be a competitive team in the NHL, you've got to be competitive in scouting, you got to be competitive in drafting, but you have to be competitive in spending. It's a cap world. That's just the reality. How does it change even your mindset as a GM, knowing that you have that now?
Well, it's good, right? There's no excuses, right? You can get to any option you want to. You can get to the money side of it, where if there is that type of player that becomes available, you can go out there and sign them and you're not worried about that, I think it just expands our options to do things in the future. Obviously our team is I think one of the youngest in the National Hockey League. So we're still growing as we get better. Salaries are going to grow. We have to be smart about our planning with our salaries, but there's also going to be opportunity for us to add some big time players down the stretch. And those big time players usually make a lot of money. So at times when you trade for them and their signing bonus of $9 million is due the next day, that's a good chunk of change. And you obviously have to have your ownership committed into spending that. And I think with our fan base in Utah and the way we're going to be able to grow our team and our fan base, it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Lastly, Bill, give us a sense of the arena and how everything is going there, just kind of off the ice, getting set for your first season in Utah.
Well, it's been amazing. We walked in, on our first day, and you get off the plane, and you got like 3,000 kids, chanting in a hangar, So it was just heartwarming. And then we went into a building that had 18,000 people, just going crazy. So, and there's 4,000 people outside the building. So, we went from playing in a small arena for 4,500, to just people going absolutely crazy. And when went out to dinner with Ginla and Simishev and Boot and Baudouin the other night, and people just kind of went crazy in the restaurant trying to take pictures and that, coming over to our table. Owners trying to. So it's a different animal in Utah. People are just so excited about the hockey team, and they're craving NHL hockey. So we get, I think our team's going to feed off that. It's just such a positive thing for us, and we're going to get a chance to kind of come in flying next year with a good fan base, and that's really exciting for the players.
Well, Bill, they must, fairly noticeable GM at your size with the sick hair as well. So that's might have to be doing. You said before you used to sell tickets. You might have to be looking at getting some sort of like hair product sponsorship with the GM in Utah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I had a player one time, Troy Stetcher, and he walked by me and he kind of rattled me one day. He's like, "Oh man," he's like, because most time your players don't talk to you,
Right.
And he said, "Wow, got great hair today. Like, what product do you put in your hair?" And I got this like angry, business like face on, on the plane, and everybody's getting on. I didn't know how to answer that, But he's a great kid. I know he's with you guys. You have to ask him that story, but he was like, "Yeah, you got great hair today. What kind of product you using there?"
he's actually a pretty funny guy. He's made a few good chirps in the elevators up to the press box a few times. So I'll have to pick his brain on that one.
He's one of the best kids. I hope the fans get to know him in Edmonton, because he's just truly a heart and soul guy. Just plays with so much passion, and call him over to the office on the trade deadline, and he said to my assistant at the time, "I know you guys traded me." And the assistant was trying not to say anything. He goes, "What'd you get from me? What'd you get from me?" Fourth rounder. He goes, "Ooh, that's pretty good, huh? Getting better." He's a character.
Yeah, no, he's a really good guy for sure. Well, Bill, congratulations on this. I know Edmonton has had a strong analytics base for a long time, so I won't be surprised if you get a few applications from people from Edmonton in the analytics community. And I look forward to seeing who you guys pick at the end of it, because it's going to be a tough decision ultimately, because you're probably going to get to many really good less than 5-page kind of I guess job applications is how I would put it, to be an intern for the Utah Hockey Club. It's a pretty funny opportunity, and thanks very much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, and I really appreciate it. And have a great summer, and we'll talk to you soon.
You betcha. That is Bill Armstrong, the GM of the Utah Hockey Club. Again, you can go to NHL.com/Utah for their hockey club, and you'll see the Summer Analytics Challenge. It's participants are going to vie for a paid internship with the hockey team. You have to submit a hockey topic, study it, analyze it. It's a maximum 5-page deliverable. So you know what? Make sure you can get your point across in a short period of time, which is very key. I think sometimes people forget that in any walk of life is you have to be able to explain and outline what you're researching in a short period of time. Precise, accurate, quick, easy to understand. And best of luck, because I'm guessing there'll be a few people from Edmonton submitting for that. So you have until Friday, August 23rd at 5 o'clock Edmonton time. You need to be 18 years of age or older, and obviously reside in Canada or the U.S. So that's just the deal for this one. So reside in Canada or the U.S. before August 23rd, which would have been was the anniversary of my parents, their wedding anniversary. Good day. 3:25. Take a quick break. We'll return. Dave McCarthy joins us next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. With sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy for comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt. And fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
Rule number 62. Never miss a free pancake breakfast. It's unheard of and frankly a little upsetting. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
We go.
$3:28. Got a little traffic update for you, courtesy of Cat Dad. Hey, fellas, heads up, stay off the Yellowhead and 50th Street, heading eastbound. There is a truck rollover, and he even sent us a picture. Because our text line, hey, we take photos. Keep them PG, okay? But, yeah, so he sent a photo. So if you're out on that side of town, be leery. You might want to avoid eastbound 50th Street and the Yellowhead. So thanks, Cat Dad. Appreciate that. As we welcome back to the program from Sirius XM, our weekly Tuesday guest, Dave McCarthy joins us. Davey, how you doing?
I love it. Traffic every half hour on the half hour. Jason Gregor, Sports 1440.
Yeah. The big ones for sure. You let us know. Nothing worse than, I love the traffic reports. There's nothing to report in traffic. So then why are you telling us? God, that was my biggest pet peeve ever. It's like the weather every 10 minutes. Do you think it changes?
Yeah. Well, I don't know on your neck of the woods.
Even in Alberta, it's not that distinct of a change. And it's like, look outside. You can see the clouds coming. We're pretty adept.
Seems redundant to an extent to have weather quite that frequently.
Well, there is a weather channel on everybody's phone. It's not, it's pretty quick. But we just had Bill Armstrong, the GM of Utah, on the program, talking about, obviously it's different for him now. You got an ownership that's willing to spend. They also have their summer analytics challenge. What's your expectations of Utah? Are they in the Buffalo, Ottawa category of the Western Conference, where it's kind of like, oh, this is another year where we think they're going to improve? Do you think they can improve enough in the Central to be a playoff team?
I don't know, a playoff team. I think that would be setting the expectations a little bit high, but they're at the point now where they're absolutely looking to try to win games. This is no longer about rebuilding and tearing down and taking on bad contracts and all of that. I had Bill on last summer around about this time, and he told me, like, because they went out and they spent some money last year at this time too, right? They brought in Kerfoot, they brought in Matt Dumba, they brought in some real live NHL bodies to help insulate some of their younger players. And he said, we're at the point now where we're trying to take a step forward and be competitive. And he cautioned me, he said, let's not get carried away. We're not a playoff team. And then, man, for about 40, 45, 50 games last year, like, I almost had to call him up and say, Bill, you weren't telling me the truth, because they were right there. And then after Christmas time, kind of when those rumors started to come out about maybe they'll be moving, all of that, the uncertainty regarding their future, then they went into the tank leading into the All-Star break. And I think they lost 13 games in a row, something like that. Even if they had gone like 500 during that period, that's 12 more points, and then they're right there in the mix. So I think that's what the expectation would be for Utah this year. But again, they went out and they were active, and they brought in some guys where they're looking to try to push forward now that they've got money to utilize. I would expect them to be at a point now where they're trying to be a contender at least for a wild card. You got another year, Logan Cooley, who has an idea of what to expect now. Dylan Gunther, same thing. They went out and they got Mikhail Sergachev, a legitimate number one defenseman, Sean Dursey, John Marino, Ian Cole. Like, their back end should be pretty good. So that's sort of where I see Utah in the mix for a wild card spot. A lot of things would have to go right, but I don't see them as cellar dwellers at this point anymore.
No, I would agree with you on that. On cellar dwellers, they should be a lot better. Some other news since we talked to you. It just came down today. Actually, Ryan Lindgren and the Rangers. He only signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
with the New York Rangers. That just coming down. I haven't seen the AAV yet on that, but that Necas gets 2-year deal, but then Konechny gets 8 years, Dave, at 8.75. Like, great for him, but I'm gonna have a real tough time thinking that contract age as well.
Yeah, I was right there with you. It's the type of situation where I was surprised when I saw that. Travis Konechny is a good player. He can score a little bit, maybe even more than a little bit. He had 31, 33 goals the last couple of years. There's a bit of bite to his game. He might well, and like, we've barely seen him in the playoffs since he's been relatively well established in his NHL career. In his I think 4th year, he played a bit of a run there, 16 games in the playoffs, but he's still a relatively young guy. In the last 4 years, we haven't seen him in the playoffs. He might be one of these guys that, come playoff time, is better than the guy you see during the regular season, just because of the way the game changes. I think his game will translate well to the playoffs. In the regular season, when it's fly up and down the ice, lots of skill, not really a grinded out game. That's not really Travis Konechny's type of game. That being said, though, that's a lot of money for a guy whose career high in points is 68, and really has never once come close to being a point per game guy in an era where there's a lot of scoring. If you're making that kind of money, I need you being close to a point a game guy. Or if not a 40 goal scorer, and 33 is nice, but it's not 40.
Yeah.
So term cash, it surprised me. And then the other thing is, you have to look at him now. If he plays the duration of this contract, he could well be a forever career flyer. And man, love Travis Konechny, good player, but in no world have I ever thought of that guy as being, well, that's going to be a guy that will play his entire career with one team. So a little bit of an overpay, I think, for me. But if they get into the playoffs and he's able to contribute at that time of the year, then maybe we'll look a bit differently at the contract. But they have to get there first.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Dave, we're into the quiet time. Nate Chess gets his deal in Carolina, so there's not a lot of big names. There are still some UFAs kicking around, more kind of the, like I call the depth signing guys that you look and say, hey, this guy could end up being a value contract for this team, right? James Van Riemsdyk, right. Tyler Johnston, Shattenkirk, Max Pacioretty's probably the one name that intrigues me a little bit. What about Blake Wheeler? You think he's got anything left?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. Having gone through the injury as he did, 2/3 into the season, he got back for the one game in the playoffs. He's in his late 30s. Now, I haven't heard much on his front, and I haven't even heard him express if he wants to play or not at this point, right? So, at that point in your career, other things start to come up in terms of your family life. Do you want to move your family again? I think he's got some kids that are, getting to the point now where they're not like babies anymore. That requires a level of commitment, not just from Blake, but from his family as well. And let's be honest, he's made a lot of money throughout his career. It's not like he's in a tight spot. So he may well be at the point where he says enough's enough. Obviously, he signed in New York with the Rangers because he thought he would have a chance to chase the Stanley Cup, and it was a good decision. The Rangers were right there, and unfortunately for him, he got hurt. But when he was healthy last year, didn't really seem to me to be a guy that brought an awful lot to the lineup. So at this point, not having heard him even express if he wants to play or not, I'd be surprised. But if he wants to play, would there be a team that wants to take him at $8.75? Because I wouldn't give him $1 more than that. Yeah, why not? I mean, bring him in, see if he's got anything left. At worst, put him in the minors on a number like that. But I didn't see a lot left last year when he was available.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Dean Evison into Columbus, Davey. And, Don Waddell, obviously that's an organization that's, hey, we got to find out if they got any goaltending or not. I don't care who your coach is. If you don't have decent goaltending, it's going to be difficult to win. But what do you make of the Blue Jackets? Like, can they even get in the contender role? I think they might have been one of the bigger underachievers last year amongst all the teams, and they had a lot of dysfunction to start that season and never really seemed to get back on track. So kind of a two-putter. A, do you think they have any chance to compete for a playoff spot? And then B, does Patrick Laine get traded before the start of the regular season?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because teams now have the ability to contact Patrick on their own to gauge whether or not he would have interest in forging some level of partnership with another team. Obviously, if you're another team, you want some degree of commitment. Would he be interested in re-signing down the road? Obviously, that's going to affect what they would give up. I mean, Columbus would love for him to express commitment to another team because then that will raise the price. At this point, I wouldn't give you much. Just for all the reasons we talked about, I think a couple of weeks ago on the show, he's a wild card right now, right? He's been unhealthy, he's been unreliable. When he has played, he hasn't been very good. He's not the guy that was shooting in the net 40 times a year early in his career with the Winnipeg Jets. It to me is a reclamation project. Now, I would suggest on the more high end of reclamation projects. I think if everything is good, and he's in a position where he's healthy and his mind is right and he's in a good position, I think he's a guy that certainly could contribute. But I also think you have to use him properly. Like he's not a forward that plays in every situation. He's not a guy that you want on the ice against other teams' top lines. He's a favorable matchup at 5-on-5 and an elite power play type guy. So that's the type of thing that you have to keep in mind if you're a team acquiring him. Like I still remember back in the day when it was still early in his career, and it was always a discussion of, oh well, did the Maple Leafs make the right pick with Austin Matthews, or should they gone with like that's over with now. Patrick Laine is a quality role player, like an elite level role. He's not a mucker and grinder, don't get me wrong, but you got to use him properly in order for him to have success. So yeah, I'm not sure. And we're still not sure if Dean Evason's been able to sit down with him and say, well, look, this is what I see for you here. And I know you were disgruntled with the way you've been used in the past. Well, we've got some pieces around you, and I'm going to put you in a position to succeed here. That could be the case too. So I think we'll have to revisit that one maybe in a month or so. In terms of Columbus, yeah, they underachieved like crazy last year. And when you look at their lineup, they've got some intriguing pieces. Johnny Gaudreau was horrendous. Like that guy better play better, given the type of contract that he signed not that long ago. Bring in Sean Monahan, who I thought had a really good year last year, to help out with Adam Fantilli. Cole Sillinger needs to play better. He didn't play nearly good enough to the way he was thought of earlier on in his career. Kirill Marchenko's a guy who can shoot at the net. Dmitry Voronkov, I think with another year of experience, his game will translate well to the NHL level. Type of guy that can be good along the boards, get to the net, and chip goals in from dirty areas. And on the back end, they're not terrible with guys like Werenski and Provorov and Severson. They're not terrible. The question is, will they be able to get a save? And that I'm not sure about. And they've also got Ken Johnson as well, who's a well thought of young player. So, like, I think I kind of look at them like Utah to an extent where they're at in their division. It's just that you look at their division and you say, well, who's coming out? Are they going to be better than the Rangers? I don't think so. The Devils, I think the Devils made some good moves. I think they'll get back to where they need to be next year. Carolina, yeah, they might be ripe for the picking, but I don't know if Columbus is going to catch them. Washington, I like what they've done. The Islanders always seem to hang around to an extent. So they might have a tough time just with the strength of competition ahead of them. But we always say it, right, Jason? You look and you say, I don't know how any team is going to be able to get in because who's coming out? Well, last year in the Metro, well, we thought New Jersey was in there in pen at this time of year, and they never got it together. So it's possible, but I wouldn't place a huge bet on it at this point.
Davey, what has been the most exciting, fun Olympic sport you have watched thus far?
Well, the surfing in Tahiti's been interesting. I just can't get enough of the gymnastics, though. Like you watch gymnastics once every 4 years and suddenly become an expert. It's like, there's a foot outside the boundary in the floor routine. That's a 10th deduction. A second foot, there's a 3/10 deduction. What they're able to do is it's bananas that they're able to fly through the air like this. So I enjoy the gymnastics quite a bit. I haven't really been able to catch too much that's sort of off the wall type of sports like the handball or anything else. But how about Summer McIntosh yesterday? She blew away the field in her race as well. So that always gets entertaining. I think the second week is really good when you get the track and field going and you get some of the off the wall sports like the long jump and the javelin and the discus and the shot put. Just what those athletes are able to do, I think is pretty spectacular. How about you?
I love the rugby. Canada against France, Australia, New Zealand was unbelievable to watch. Obviously, McIntosh in the pool. I've always enjoyed watching swimming. I was watching our first gold medal for judo. To be honest, I can watch it and not really make any comments. I listen to, I'm like, hey, the best broadcasters are the ones who can make the newbie who's just tuning in for the first time get a semblance of what I'm supposed to be watching for. And so then even Eleanor Harvey in fencing, I watched that one too, just because I like seeing anytime a Canadian's done something that no other Canadian in history has ever done. And so to get on the podium in fencing, I was watching it and I'm kind of like, I don't even know what I'm watching for, but it was interesting, of course. And then when anytime you have a kid, well, now suddenly a kid picks up a stick and now he wants to be fencing. So it's kind of.
I always wonder, how does one get into fencing?
Well, that's a good question. I think somebody introduces you to it, and it's very technical. Is from having spoke to some people who do it, and you got to have very good eyes. Evidently, is the one thing I've heard, that you have to have very good eyes. So, I don't think I could get in on the fencing aspect. So
no,
I have good eyewear. I just don't have good eyes.
Oh, I would find it interesting. Maybe if you carry a staff around and you start using it like a sword.
You could get into it.
Maybe, right?
Maybe there should be like some sort of wizard competition, right? Like Declan was asking us, he goes, if there was one Olympic sport that you could do suddenly and train for hard enough that you could qualify, what's the one you'd want to do?
Oh, it would probably be in the Winter Olympics, though. The short track speed skating is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's like roller derby on ice. But it's entertaining because you're not just racing against the clock. It's you're racing against fellow competitors, and the margins of error, like within centimeters, if you clip the skate and then you go flying off into the corner, that to me just looks like a great deal of fun and excitement just from a competition standpoint. Maybe a little dangerous as well, but I guess most of those sports the Winter Olympics are.
Yeah. Davey, great stuff, man. Enjoy the Olympics. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
I will leave you on this. We've talked for about 12 minutes here, and maybe we should be doing weather on the 10s, because when we started, it was sunny. And I kid you not, the only reason I'm not getting soaked right now is because I'm under a very large canopy. But otherwise, it is pouring in my part of Etobicoke.
Oh, a little sun shower in Etobicoke.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
All righty, Davey. Well, it's a good thing you got the hat on, so keeps you dry all the time.
See you, Jason.
That's our meteorologist, Dave McCarthy, joins us every Tuesday here on Sports 1440. When we come back, Terry Ryan on a jam-packed, loaded Tuesday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Fans. Jackpot! Touchdown! Get on the Elks Party Bus for every home game at On the Rocks for only $35.
Included is a game ticket, round-trip transportation, and a prepaid Coors Light.
Reserve your spot now at ontherocks.com.
And OTR is your go-to for every Euro Cup game.
With $5.25 Heineken.
Their first major trophy. It's the ultimate football experience.
Canadian or European.
Only at On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave in 118th.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
Albatross Roofing and Construction is hiring experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators and installers in Edmonton. Must have SBS modified bitumen experience and valid CSTS certification. Enjoy top wages, benefits, and career growth. Apply at roofingalbatross.ca. Join their expert team today.
It's the Bricks 53rd birthday bash, and you're invited to join us. We're kicking off the celebration with fabulous 5-day deals. From Thursday to Monday, take up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. And all week long, check out amazing deals in every department, like up to 25% off dining and bedroom furniture, and buy more, save more, up to $300 off select major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
$350. Also, big Olympic shout out to the Plouffe sisters from Edmonton. Of course, they are the best 3-on-3 basketball team in the world, and get the big win over Australia to start. As many people see them as one of the favorites to get a medal for Canada at the Olympics. How awesome! Imagine not only getting an Olympic medal, but getting an Olympic medal with your twin or sibling. I don't care who it is. That'd be a lot of fun. Your teammates at the same time would be great. Let's get to our Terry Ryan, brought to you by Action Electrical. And hey, you've been sitting on the fence. Should I do it? Should I not? Let's pull the trigger. They'll help. You know what? Even if you're not sure, go to actionelectrical.net. You can have a conversation with them. They will explain to you all the benefits, whether you want solar at home or on your commercial building. Get saving now, and they can give you all the best ways to save you money. Actionelectrical.net. As Terry Ryan, of course, author, former NHL player, first-round draft pick, now getting set to go film season 4 of Shoresy. TR, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm busy, obviously, and it's not just that. Yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Then on Thursday, my dad and I are going to catch Green Day and Smashing Pumpkins and Rancid, but I'm going for Green Day. I mean, I'll be there for all of it, but you know what I'm saying. We're flying up for Green Day. So, and then we're going to take the next day, hang out with my buddy and friend of the show, Taran Sandwith, for a day, and then on the 3rd, we're both going to head down to Sudbury, where I will be until September 9th or 10th, shooting season 4. So Senior's going to come back after a few days. But it's not just that. Right after that, I have a gig in Sun Valley, Idaho again. I'm going to go there. I went there last winter for hockey, and this time we're going to do a golf thing. And then the next weekend after that is just a few days after that, actually, is Chicklets Cup. And I have another gig 2 days after that. So essentially, I won't be here until October, really late September, October.
Oh, well, hey, buddy, you'll be busy. We'll get a few random hits in. We know that. So, hey, big movie star now, or TV star. That's what happens. So, no, it's a good thing. Anything at the Olympics? Did you happen to? I don't know if you've had time or not, but the Rugby by Canada is unbelievable to watch. Has there been anything else that you've that's got your attention at the Olympics thus far?
Yeah, I've had. I mean, obviously, it's hard for the whole Summer McIntosh story not to grip you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd heard of her. So one thing that I love and I hate about the Olympics is that some of these sports I find I follow and I feel like a bandwagoner because I watch, but I think a lot of people might. I mean, we don't have time in our daily lives. I don't have enough time to listen to every podcast I want, let alone watch, swimming world championships and stuff. I'm interested when it's Olympics, but I didn't realize how good she was or how young. And just how much of an impact she's had on the sport already. I was kind of oblivious to that. I heard her name, just as in she's our best swimmer currently. But I obviously, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you're asking me what's intrigued me. The female soccer team, obviously, right?
Oh, God.
For reasons, I'm guessing everybody listening, we've dissected. If you listen to this show or my podcast, you'll know what's happened. So I'm going to assume all that as I speak here. So here's the thing. It is, as I'm watching it, I'm getting a real, it's a great feeling. Like it almost feels like the girls are underdogs because they didn't know they're not underdogs, but they're, like you really are rooting for them because it's not their fault that all this is happening. They got dock points, which might come back now. Who knows? But I've been listening to a lot of Canadian shows, TV, podcasts, whatever it would be. I've been, if nothing else, packing for all these trips. My daughter to the beach a few hours away just a few days ago. So I've been listening to a lot. And, a lot of people are saying, and it feels to us, like, to me, like a really feel good story if they win, right? Because again, the girls didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. But does the rest of the, like when I hear that Russia were cheating a few years ago, whatever they were doing, they cheated multiple times. I kind of, in my head, as a different, like a nation far removed from the sport and the country, whatever it is, I just kind of put them all guilty. So, like, does the rest of the world, are they looking at, I'm guessing that they don't care. If Canada wins, it looks terrible because they're going to go, yeah, of course you guys won. Yeah, I mean, we know the difference now that it's being investigated. We're believing the girls. I mean, I'm just going to assume going in, I'm believing 7 or however many girls it was that said, no, nothing happened. I think it was 17 guys that said, yeah, we watched video a few years ago, right? John Herdman, everything else. No, nothing happened. And now, so like, if I'm another country, I don't really care about the Canadian women. I'm going, I hope you lose 10-0 tomorrow. And if you win, I certainly won't be thinking, way to go, but we see it differently because I think we believe and there's no reason not to.
I guess to me, the difference would be, though, like when Russia, they were doing performance enhancing cheating, right? Like these people are saying,
everybody, though.
Yeah. But the thing was, if they win their next game, like they were filming the New Zealand practice, right? And New Zealand's 29th place team. So now they're done. They beat France, the home number 3 nation. There was obviously no one was videoing their practice because they had already been kicked out. And the person that was overseeing it was already gone. So it's kind of different because I don't think there's anything they could really say, well, what's the advantage now? There's been no advantage, allegedly, because there's no one filming any of the practices anymore.
Well, they could, if it's me, I would just go like, yeah, but you're like right down to the under 16 team like 8 years ago. You guys got lots of practices. We caught you. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You know exactly what we're going to, that's what I would think. Oh, there hasn't been anything in 3 days. You've had drones at all these. That's what I would think. If it's Russia, okay, they got cop performance enhancing. If that was multiple times, which it was at multiple Olympics, at multiple World Championships, that's what we're dealing with. If I'm another country, I'm thinking Canada's where, of course, they won last time. They're cheating. Everybody's cheating in Canada. That's what I would think, given all of the depth of all this. Now, me talking to you, I don't think that. And when I watched the girls win the other day, I shed a tear. It was a great moment. I just don't know that everybody sees it like that, cut and dry. Oh, now they're not cheating. They're fine. I'd think, yeah, you guys got where you are. You deserve everything.
That's totally valid point, right? That Canadians aren't used to ever being the bad guy.
No, I hate it.
We're not presumed to. So I do think that other countries might look and say, well, Canadians have never really done this, and that's what I think annoys a lot of Canadians, and rightfully so. Is that that's not really in the long-standing tradition. Now, I'm not saying that a Canadian team or a Canadian player has never not stretched the lines of sportsmanship to benefit themselves. Of course they have, but I'm talking when we say the overall majority. Not really, right? Like that's not when you think of Canada, it's not cheating scandals, right? There's lots of other things you might they joke about and too polite, etc. It hasn't been that. So that history might actually play in because I haven't read a lot of articles because you've seen them over the years. People come to certain Canadian markets and some guy from Australia, New Zealand's like, your city sucks, blah 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 blah. I actually haven't read, and I went looking for it. I haven't read anything scathing yet. Now, maybe it's because they haven't gotten to the medal round, but I haven't read anything from other countries saying, oh, yeah, Canada, the big bad cheater. I haven't really noticed that yet.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You haven't. There's two things that I find that are intriguing in whatever ends up coming out here. Like, where do you put it? Someone asked me that the other day, like, how bad is it? Like, Ben Johnson he dropped the ball for Canada.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Me personally, like,
well, I don't what? This ranks different because it was just dumb. Like, I'm still not sold there was any benefit to do it.
And not just dumb. Not just dumb. And again, I know that he's injecting a fluid into his body that's going to make him superhuman almost. Like, so obviously, I'm not arguing for him. There was more of an acceptance to me to that because this is weird. Like, you're going to go out of your way to put these machines in the sky and peer down. And then,
take people in a little room where no one knows and look what we got. And like, what is the point? Like, un-Canadian, that's exactly, it makes me sick to my stomach because one of the things I love about being from Canada is how competitive we are and we're very passionate. We don't really have a reputation for cheating, certainly, for working hard. Our success over the years has usually come from some level of passion for whatever sport you're watching, whether it's Summer McIntosh or Penny Oleksiak or Katrina LeMay-Doan or Wayne Gretzky. Whatever it is, we're usually those people that try hard, that are passionate. Once in a while, if we do have an incredible athlete come along, it's a result of hard work and dedication. Now, like I said, Ben Johnson is one thing, but I just find the level of like the setup and like, I don't know, for the payoff too, New Zealand. And I got to be honest with you, Jason, like you just said or referred to for a second there, even if this is like your arch rival, I'm like, do you really need to, like for the amount of penalty, for how much egg is on the face of so many Canadians, so many people are going to go down with this, so many people that had nothing to do with it, that are pulled into it because they're guilty by association, right? For what? Like, I don't even, like, it's just, to me, like, the games are all out there. You can watch any game. If you want to do the homework on France, do it. You don't need something up in the sky. I just find it embarrassing as much as it is, unfortunate.
No, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. And it's, luckily for Canada, there's, it's kind of got pushed to the wayside. A lot of people are rooting for, hey, it's just to see if they can make it through or not. We'll see. The women's rugby team going up against France, beating them, then beating Australia, then playing New Zealand and taking them right down to the wire. Those are the top 3 rugby nations in the world on the women's side. And Canada went toe-to-toe, beat 2 of them, and lost to New Zealand, who blew away the United States in the semifinal. Like, that game wasn't even close. And Canada was right there up until the end against New Zealand. We've seen diving synchronized for men, first time ever, judo, first time gold medal, fencing, first time. So there's been a lot of kind of other good stories, thankfully, for Canada. And, I'm kind of curious to see where she can win before she turns 18. Like, you're joking. She doesn't even turn 18 until next month. So
18.
Yeah.
Just think of that.
Yeah. Well, hey, think about TR, your daughter being in the Olympics last year. That's what she was. She was in the Olympics at 14.
Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly, it's you know what? It's almost unfathomable. And I'll tell you what else is, since you mentioned it. Again, bandwagon Olympic guy, but I broke down. Do you know how many times I watched on slow motion those divers that were in sync?
Oh God!
I can't believe. I honestly, of everything, we were talking hit a fastball or whatever, a curveball or whatever, climb Mount Everest. How do you get that in sync? It's just a matter of physics. Like, you'd be a little bit off. I can't believe how good they were at that. I'd have so many questions. Like, I hope I can get one of them on my podcast in 3 or 4 months when it dies down, because how do you practice? How much practice is on your own? Like, obviously toning up your body, and then do you both go for the exact same tone because it's like the same matter or like if I'm a little bit bigger than you here, then I've got to turn differently. Like, you know what I mean? How much goes into that?
Oh God, yes. No, that's to be that in sync is very challenging for sure. And the dedication, I think the commitment to practice together all the time, like that's the ultimate team sport, because you have to be just equally as good on the exact same level as your partner. You can't be a little bit better.
Right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
right out of my mouth. And if anybody ever asks me again, the ultimate team sport, I know exactly where I'm pointing. I'm going to show them that video.
Yeah, that's a good one. TR, well, we'll be chatting. We look forward to a few little updates from season 4 of Shoresy. So we'll be chatting with you as we can with random hits here over the next few weeks, few months.
Yes, I'm sure I'll be on more often than not, but that's just it. This is one of the, I won't say downsides, but one of the things you have to accept about the trade. But the good thing is we'll be done in September and all those things by the time the NHL season starts. I'll finally have a good bit of time at home on my hands. I'm looking forward to it. And
I'll probably be chatting with you guys, to be honest, on Tuesday, because Thursday, like I said, is an all-day event at the Rogers Center, and you won't even want to hear me on the radio that day.
Well, hey, you better get a scorecard. See, the Jays are trading everybody. They just made another trade. You and I were talking. IKF is gone. So yes, so he just got traded. So
and listen, I didn't see today. Did Kikuchi go today? Obviously,
he went. Yeah, he went. Was it today or late yesterday? Late yesterday,
Probably,
he went to the Houston, and that's like they got a pretty good return for him. A lot of people are liking that trade. So.
And okay, last thing, unless we're out of time, what did they get for Turner? I know he went to Seattle. I just saw it come up.
Oh, they just got like a depth prospect guy. Nothing.
That's what I figured. Yeah. People are saying they were going to go, how are they going to get anything for a guy that old? But I can see why Seattle would. Who knows? Hop at in the playoffs, whatever. Yeah. We can talk about that next time.
Yeah, they just want him to get one key hit at the right time.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're looking for. Well, more than one, but you know what I mean. So
totally.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, TR. Have a good one, my man.
Okay, you too. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. Chat soon.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan. Tuesday and Thursday, which might be a little bit spotty here now as he gets set to shoot season 4 of Shores. He's committed to being on the show. He's always texting, hey, I can make it work here or there, so which is great. So we always move him around. Take a quick break. Oh, by the way, we're going to have tomorrow's Who Is It Wednesday guest. Little hint for you. Probably the fastest guest we've ever had on the show. Well, maybe not ever. On this station for sure. Because I did have Donovan Bailey on once. So pretty fast guy though. It's coming up tomorrow. Let's get to the comment on a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Albatross Roofing. They are looking for experienced flat roofers and sheet metal fabricators. Is that you? You need to have experience with SBF modified bitumen roofing systems. Apply at roofingalbatross.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Canada taking silver in the women's rugby sevens at the Olympics after losing 19-12 to New Zealand in the championship game on Tuesday. Their previous best finish in rugby sevens was bronze at the games in Rio back in 2016. Twin sisters Catherine and Michelle Poop combined for 18 points as Canada opened its run at the Olympic Women's 3-on-3 basketball tournament with a 22-14 win over Australia. Up next, China on Wednesday. And RJ Barrett had a game-high 24 points as Canada improved to 2-0 in group play with a 93-83 victory over Australia. They'll be back in action Friday when they take on Spain. That gets going at 9:15 a.m. The Calgary Flames signed restricted free agent goaltender Dustin Woll to a 2-year contract extension with an AAV of $850,000. Woll had a 3.16 GAA last season with an .893 save percentage in 17 games with the Flames. From the CFL, the Alouettes announcing today that Cody Fajardo returning to practice and being removed from the 6-game injured list. Fajardo was injured in the team's July 11th loss to the Argos in the first quarter with a hamstring injury. And the Everett Silvertips have hired former Oil Kings coach Steve Hamilton as their next head coach. Hamilton won a Memorial Cup as an associate in Edmonton back in 2014, the score sending 10 seasons as the head coach between the Kings and the Hitmen. And Major League Baseball, it is trade deadline come and gone. On the field, the Jays about to get going against the Orioles. First pitch set for 4:35. Later, Yankees in Philadelphia. Mets host the Twins. Mariners taking on the Red Sox. You got the White Sox and Royals. Rockies, Angels, Dodgers, Padres, and the Giants take on the Athletics. Earlier today, Guardians blanked the Tigers 5-0. And the Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight. They are out in Victoria, kicking off a 3-game series. First pitch just after 8 o'clock. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be asking 5 questions and be joined by Derek Van Diest of NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Jonathan and Murray are friends.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Except when they talk about which stadium is more fun in the summer.
Dude, Commonwealth has Elks Fan Park. Tailgating at its finest.
But it can't compare to the old ballpark in the River Valley. Riverhawks games are electric. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhawk Beef Jerky.
It's the only thing everyone can agree on. So pick some up for your summer pregame snack.
Wilhawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
Summer adventures are more fun in a new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Home of the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada.
All this month, get 0% financing on all 2024 Mitsubishi models.
Plus, get up to a $3,000 trade-in bonus.
And double the loyalty rebate for all existing Mitsubishi owners, up to $1,000.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
An accident. And it wasn't your fault.
How do I get the compensation and support I need? Can someone please help me with all these forms?
Why are the adjusters calling me?
What kind of work will I be able to do now? Is anyone listening?
It feels like no one has my back.
Robinson LLP does. Visit RobinsonLLP.com to find your injury lawyer. Robinson LLP, the recovery team.
Well, lovely, busy Tuesday. What a show for the first 2 hours, man. We had GMs in football and baseball and hockey on the show. TR, Dave McCarthy. That was a quick, fast 2 hours. If you missed any of it, you can always go to jasongregor.com. All of our individual interviews are there. Anywhere where you get your podcasts. If you want to hear from G. Roy Simon and Trey Ford, confirmed by the GM, he is indeed starting. No, it's like, Captain Obvious. We all knew he was starting. He had to be. And he's going to get a lengthy opportunity. I think the biggest question now surrounding the Elks is, what could you get from McLeod Bethel Thompson? Now, maybe they'd want him around to be that extra veteran quarterback to help you learn on the sidelines and in film room, which would be great. Now, is that what he wants to do, or does he want to play? He hasn't played a ton of football. I know he's 36 years of age, but he hasn't played a ton. So he might want to say, no, if you can trade me and there's teams out there that are interested, I'd rather go somewhere where I can play. So we'll see. But that'll be something interesting to watch for me if that's a possibility at all for him. So we'll see how it goes. 413, lots of text line in 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Your partner in power since 1976, supplying the city of champions and all of Alberta with top quality electrical gear at ewell.ca. Also, speaking of Ewell, because of course they're helping out the golf tournament, but coming up in a month from today, August 30th, it will be the 7th annual Oilers Nation Golf Tournament, presented by Oodle Noodle, and it goes at Millwoods. It is an 8 a.m. shotgun start. I'll tell you, it's loads of fun, and we have some whole sponsors that will guarantee you a lot of fun. We have a few spots left for teams. If you'd like to sign up, you can send me a text, and I can email you the link to where you want to sign up as a foursome. Maybe you got a twosome, and you get put together with some other diehard sports fans. It's loads of fun. I'll tell you that. It's a Friday, and I'm telling you, this is a fun tournament. There will be some challenges on some holes that are good. Bring cash because there is a fun little charitable component where if you're good at driving the ball, could help you. Now you don't have to be great; just have to be good for one hit. That's all you need. So maybe that'll be it. So it'll be saw some prizes, lots of familiar faces from the sporting community that will be around. So if you want in, you can send me a text, 833-401-1440, and I will send you the link on where you can sign up. It's pretty easy. It's actually super easy. So there you go. Hey, guys, what was the latest Jays trade? I missed it. Well, the Jays. So who haven't they traded? Might be a better question. But the Blue Jays are they're wheeling and dealing. Now their biggest trade, I would say, would have to be the Kikuchi deal, just because of the return, right? That's obviously the biggest one of the day, and that was actually last night. But they traded Isaiah Connor Falefa to Pittsburgh for third baseman Charles McAdoo. They did trade Trevor Richards to Minnesota for utility infielder Jay Harry. Probably a few jokes in that name. So I'm trying to think, is any Kikuchi was dealt. Who else? Well, none today. So, but they made a lot of deals. Now, speaking of wheeling, did you see Vladimir Guerrero's day yesterday? They played a doubleheader. He went 7 for 10. He had 2 home runs, 3 doubles, 2 signals. And if you watch the Orioles broadcast, it's probably the best to see the destruction that he had on Baltimore. When he hit that line drive home run, straightaway center field, you're like honestly, it barely went over the top of the wall, and it was pretty much at that height the entire way. It was a screamer, as they say. And afterwards, he hit it. I think it was when he hit his double in the 9th inning. They're like, we got 2 more days of this guy. Like, he has been absolutely mauling the ball for the last month and a half. Like, just absolutely murdering it. And it leads me to one thing in baseball. That if there was one, I don't like the intentional walk. When you got a guy hitting that well, you shouldn't be able to avoid him. I know people say, well, you can just make an obvious walk. Well, you know what's an obvious one. Now, I guess the guy can throw 4 pitches, so maybe you just can't get rid of it. But God, if there was a way to do it, I would do it. Because people go to the games to watch the best players hit. And intentionally walking guys in the 3rd inning, the 4th inning, the 5th, it sucks. So I don't know how you can get away with it or stop it. You probably can't. I'm just saying, Connor Halley, if there was a rule I could change that I think would make the game better, like, why would you want to allow the best guys not an opportunity to hit the ball? I just don't like it.
I'm with you. Now, like, in my mind, I'm trying to create solutions. Oh, maybe you make it a double. Well, like you said, you won't make it intentional, right? You'll just throw 4 balls that are just a little low. I just didn't have it on that set there. It is kind of tough. Going back, before we knew what we did, and maybe his legacy was tainted. Barry Bonds, all the times he would get walked, and just how anticlimactic it was, because you'd have to throw the 4 straight balls and things like that. It is kind of a damper on the game. I'm with you. It'd be better if we could find a way to do more of a reward for those players that have to sacrifice it and take the base. But I don't think there's much you can do. Just have to accept the downside there.
Yeah. Guys, can you explain to me why somebody thinks the Jays should trade Vladimir Guerrero? Well, who? Who says that? Who has mentioned? Who don't want to wear the ribbon? That's what I'm sounding like right now. But honestly, has anybody of note said they should trade Vladdy Guerrero? Or are we talking about anonymous people online? It's not worth talking about. There is 0 reason to trade Vladdy Guerrero. You're never getting that type of talent back. No, I don't care if you can get 5 players for him. Not happening. So why would you do it? The Jays have said for years they're willing to spend money. So I don't see why you don't sign him. He says it now. I know guys come out and say things, but I think he's happy in Toronto. And if you can surround him with competitive players, what's the problem? Get better management. So, and that to me is the big interesting one at the end of this season. Are we going to see a cleaning house from the Blue Jays? From GM and president? Like, how much longer do they were supposed to be now ramping up? This was supposed to be the time they were getting better. They're not. So I would look at, to me, it might be the time to do it. So. And guys, maybe if it's an obvious walk, it's a double instead of a single. Maybe that would limit it. So if there's somebody on first, now it's second and third. I don't mind that.
But again, how can you not just say you're going to throw 4 pitches that just missed the edge?
Yeah, but if they're just missing the edge, isn't Vladdy hitting it?
Maybe.
You don't think he's like, how many of those hits are just off the edge and he pounds it to center field?
I mean, that is the risk.
Yeah.
I mean, you could bounce 4 and say, oh, sinker is really sinking today.
Like, remember when old Steroid Bonds was in his peak steroid years? Didn't they walk him once intentionally to the bases were loaded and they still did it? I gotta look that up, but I'm pretty sure I remember that.
1 run's better than 3, so
yeah. Well, hey, you know,
maybe 4 for him.
And here's the thing about Bonds. I've said this many times. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he started the juice. All you gotta do is look at his stats, look at his pitch, and just look at the expanding head era of Barry Bonds. Like, he was the one guy, like, it was so obvious he took steroids physically all the day. Like, your head just doesn't grow like that at that stage of your career. Doesn't happen. And then go look at Barry Bonds and, geez, this guy got really extra muscular suddenly after the age of 30. Well, clearly it works. So
funny, because I have no recollection of skinny Barry Bonds.
Go look at his pictures of the when he was with the Pirates, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking now. This was maybe just before my time, but for me, it's like jacked up Bonds.
Yeah,
is all I remember.
Like, I don't think many people remember how good Barry Bonds was in Pittsburgh, right? Like, he was on pace. He would have hit 500 home runs and stolen 500 bases, right? Before he started juicing, right? Like, he had hit, 35, 33. He'd hit lots of years of home runs. It wasn't, and even his first few years in San Fran, it wasn't crazy. It was only when he really started to get in like his mid 30s. Now, it kind of shows you it takes a few years. It isn't like all of a sudden you have one off season of syringes in the buttocks and then suddenly you're great. Because he was good. He was a very good hitter, right? He had won the MVP, twice in Pittsburgh? Like, he is, I would love once for him to be honest about why he took steroids. Was he that? Was it insecurity? Was it, I got to be the best, so I don't feel I'm the best, even though I'm right there? And it's like, well, others are cheating, so I'm going to do it, which isn't an excuse, by the way. It's not an excuse, because there were some guys who weren't. But he is the one he was a great player. Why he did it, I'll never know. It's too bad. Because you talk, Cons, you say you don't even remember that part of his career, because you're right. It kind of tainted his career. That's what he'll be remembered as. He'll remembered more of the juicer than he will be the great player that he was prior.
That summer, though, when he was going on the run, Gregor, being innocent and not knowing yet what he was doing.
2001?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Going in watching Sports Desk, I think it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did Barry do tonight?
Yeah.
Man, it was good. Good drama. And then, Sosa McGuire at the time. Great drama.
Well, like, Barry Bonds had a 3-year stint in Pittsburgh where he hit .301. He had a slugging percentage of .565. He had an OPS of .970. He had 52 stolen bases, 114 RBIs, 33 home runs. Then the next year was 43 stolen bases, 25 home runs, 116 RBIs. Slugging percentage, OPS was .924. Then the next season, 39 stolen bases, 34 home runs, 100 plus RBIs. Guys getting walked a ton. Like, he was a baller. and then just ruined his reputation by taking steroids. Dumb. God. I don't get it. Because he was a great player prior to that. It's really too bad. When we come back, DVD will join us. Hey, we'll talk about soccer. DVD, of course, huge soccer. And you know what's funny is a lot of European soccer people, like, they think the drone thing is nothing. It's kind of interesting. So we'll get to it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Rule number 41, never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Every Friday after 4 p.m., it's 9 and Dine Fridays. Includes golf for two with a power cart at Cattail Crossing and a $50 food voucher at Out of Bounds Restaurant. Only $119.99. Tea times can be booked at cattailcrossing.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
It's the Brick's 53rd birthday bash, and you're invited to join us. We're kicking off the celebration with fabulous 5-day deals from Thursday to Monday. Take up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. And all week long, check out amazing deals in every department. Like up to 25% off dining and bedroom furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to $300 off select major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
I like to know when I'm not to repeat yesterday's mistakes. What I did with you when it comes to you, it's the only the good. So look at memory, you make me feel, yeah. You got a hold on me, I never met someone so different. to remember to forget.
For 30, we continue on to Sports Leader TSN 1260. Not great news for those in Jasper. Evacuees and residents will not be able to return to Jasper until the wildfire is under control. So that's I know that there's there's been a lot of loss of homes and businesses, and then even people who didn't lose it now are, you know what, going to have to wait a long time. And so it's just a situation that keeps get worse by the day. And so that's why tomorrow here, all radio stations across the country are getting together and, raising money for Jasper. So we can tell you all about it tomorrow, all throughout the day. I hope you tune in, and the Alberta Day of Caring is what it is. And it's going to help a lot of those people in that community. I know for a lot of you, myself included, Jasper has some great memories of whether you went hiking or fishing or skiing or, just an outdoors person there. And yeah, you really enjoyed it. So also, they can take donations. Also, bottle depots. There's lots of ones that are participating, and you go to findadepot.ca, findadepot.ca. And the website is albertadayofcaring.com. And starting tomorrow for one day, we'll try to raise a lot of money for people in Jasper who have had their lives completely turned upside down. So we'll do that on the show tomorrow. And not just us, every radio station in the country will be, in Alberta, will be part of it, which is great. Now, let's talk a little soccer and NHL and everything else. Derek Van Diest is going to be joining us momentarily. We got lots more text line in at 833-401-1440. Hey guys, intentional walk possible deterrent. Advance all runners that are already on base, regardless of what base they're on. From female superfan. Hey, you know what? I like any idea that can eliminate the intentional walk. I think it's terrible. I don't like it at all. I'd rather see, because it's not like you're rarely intentionally walking the average hitter, right? You're intentionally walking guys who are red hot. Well, don't we want to see the best have an opportunity? No one's saying, hey, look at Vladdy. Oh, great. Now he gets a jog down first base. No. I know it would be a big change, but is it really that drastic, important to the fabric of baseball? Honestly, I don't think it is. So, hey, Gregor, better management is the answer. They made this team progressively worse every year. Atkins and Shapiro have to go from JC. I would agree with you. I think they've been given more than ample opportunity to be successful. And they got him to the playoffs for a bit, but now it's been going the opposite way. It was like they hit the peak, and now they're coming down the other side of the mountain. And if that's the case, it's time to move on. And guys, it's funny that the owners love profiting off the steroids, but refuse to put those in the Hall of Fame. Steroids don't make you bat 350. It's exciting air in baseball. On to the players, Montana to Rice. Well, steroids will help you with bat speed. That's been proven. It definitely helps you with bat strength. And you're stronger. And now, so that does help you hit more, because if all of a sudden balls that would be morning track power are now going out of the ballpark, right? Or something that maybe would have been a slow grounder now has way more juice on it. No pun intended. Maybe a little bit. Gets through the infield. So I do think it matters. It doesn't improve your hand-eye. You're right. Like, you still have to be able to see the ball. I understand all of that. But it allows you to, the other big difference was it was the recovery time from steroids. That was the big one, that it allowed you to be at your best for longer. It's one of the biggest advantages of it. So I just, to me, there's a rule against it. So you can't say, well, I guess you can. You can say you don't mind it, but then you're basically saying that you accept cheating because it's against the rules. Can't do it. So can you pick and choose which cheating you like? Guys, it doesn't help that Bonds was such a jerk. Big Poppy took steroids, got caught, but was still in the Hall of Fame because he's likable. Did Big Poppy get caught? God, there's so many of that. Did he get caught? Like, I remember Andy Pettit just casually said, yeah, I did it. And then everyone was like, okay, and they moved on. I think it was the fact that Bonds and Clemens were all about, no, never. And so now it's like, come on. Now you're insulting our intelligence by consistently lying to us about doing it. But did Big Poppy, did he ever test positive, Cons? Can you look that up?
I am looking it up right now. Just to kind of double down on what you said, though, like Pettit was great because he admitted it. Just kind of said, yeah, I want to be better, wanted to recover faster. Everyone else was doing it. Moved on. Doesn't get looked at the same light as who was the guy who lied on, was it to Congress? Palmero? Raphael?
Oh, that's when he slammed the table.
Yeah.
I never did it.
Like, it made such
and then,
a big deal.
It was like 2 weeks later or whatever it was. So, now Bonds, because remember he had the perjury trial because he tested to the federal grand jury in 2003 that he used cream and the clear, but did not know they were performance enhancing drugs. Yeah. He also testified that if he ever took steroids, he answered no. The government alleges that he lied under oath. Remember that one? So yeah, he had a lot of other things going on. But so I took the cream, but I didn't know it was steroids. Are you telling me that an elite level athlete doesn't know what they're taking?
So Ortiz was among a group of 100 major league players that was compiled by federal investigators that tested positive.
Okay.
He had no suspension, and he said he denied ever buying or using steroids. So he was on a list, but it didn't result in a suspension.
All right. Okay. So he was on the list. So if you're on the list, probably a pretty good chance you took it. So it's a fair point. It is very much a fair point. So Manny Ramirez. Yeah. Well, Ram, he's not in the Hall of Fame though. A-Rod. Now, did A-Rod get in yet? Can't remember. Jeez. He was close, but I don't know if he got in.
No, he's not in.
He's not in. I didn't think so. Right. Clemens still isn't in. There's another guy. Elite pitcher. Elite. But look at his body. Look at his now he was always fairly competitive, but he became rather hot under the collar. Which is one of the side effects, allegedly, of taking steroids, is anger. Quick bouts of anger, losing your temper. Saw that a few times from old Roger. So, like, I wonder at what point they would ever admit it. And some would say, well, now it's, if you deny it, like, if you denied it for 15, 20 years and then said, you know what? I lied again. I actually did take it. Would that be enough to allow you to say, oh, well, you know what? He finally admitted it. Now I can put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, I'd be like, you know what? There's a statute of limitations on this. You had ample opportunity in the first 5 years, which is a big stretch. Because think about any parent. What do you tell your kids? You'll get in more trouble if you lie about it. Tell me the truth. It'll be a lot better. And what's funny is, that's the truth. Very few parents, hey, I appreciate you told me. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have to pay some consequences for whatever the wrong that you did. But man, when you lie to it, now you're just compounding your issues. So you teach at a young age. So to me now, if Bonds or Clemens ever came out and was like, yep, I did it, I'm going to admit it now, I'd be like, okay, well, we knew this all along. You lied the whole time. Like, if I was a voter who had always voted no for them, it wouldn't change it. They wouldn't get in after the fact. I'd be like, okay, great. But the consequences to your decades of lying is you don't get in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's your consequence. You've been able to live a good life. You made all your money, but you don't get to be in the Hall of Fame. And I wouldn't feel bad about that. To me, that's the consequences. You made the choice. You know what? You're only maybe hurting your own body. Right? We're not even taking your numbers out of the record books, even though some people say there should be asterisks in there. But if they ever came out and admitted it, I'd be like, okay, thank you. But it doesn't change my opinion and doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame. That's how I would view it as a viewer, as a voter. What about you? Because you've reached a certain point now that the only reason you're telling the story, the truth at this point, is in the hopes to get in the Hall of Fame. Or maybe it's just eating away at you enough. Or maybe you're just Costanza. It's not a lie, Jerry, if you believe it. So, may have reached that point. Hey, Greg, you were talking about rugby earlier. I have to say it. I can't think of another sport that I knew so little about that I was so excited to watch. Thanks for your tweet about the Australia game. It got me watching that, and then I watched New Zealand. Thanks. Well, happy to hear it. It was now obviously the first game was on a little too early for me, but I taped it. Record, whatever, PVR'd it. Got up and watched it. And when Australia was up 12-0, I was like, oh geez, you know what? It was a really good run. And then Williams had that unreal play at the end of the first half. Very smart play. Gets them the late try. And then they roll to the come from behind victory. Outstanding. After beating France, the number 3 ranked nation. Then they beat the number 2 ranked nation. Then they go up against New Zealand, who spanked the U.S., by the way, in the other semifinal earlier this morning. And you're thinking, oh, it's New Zealand. And Canada was right in that match. They actually led. Remember they scored maybe you don't know. They scored the 2 tries almost back-to-back within a couple minutes in that first half. And they were right in it. It was awesome. It was a great effort. Just came up short against the number 1 nation in the world. But I know it enough, but I don't know everything about rugby. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's physical. It's fast. There's obviously some strategy involved, right? And I'm explaining to my son, because well, Dad, why'd they lose the ball there? So he explained, no. When you go down, then you get the protection and they can't just steal it from you at that point. And, but then, like Australia, when they made that terrible gap of just dropping the ball in your own zone, lose it, creates a turnover. Canada gets the late try and wins. And that was devastating. So it was awesome. Awesome game. And so that's what I love about the Olympics. I look forward to summer is back. If you like swimming, we came close today. Massey finished at 4th, and the medley is 200 meters coming up. There's a few others. Then the relay, and man, Canada's women's going to have a real tough decision on who's going to be in the freestyle. I gotta think it's summer, but maybe not. It's only 100 meters. Like Penny Alexiak, that's kind of her thing. So it'll be fascinating to watch. That's a good problem to have when you've got that many top swimmers for a few different disciplines. I love it. We'll come back. We got 5 questions. We got Strudwick. He's back from holidays. He'll join us in the 5 o'clock hour and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's Tuesday. Lotto Max is $70 million and 14 Lotto Max. Max Millions. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hey, if you're a basketball fan, you're going to want to check out the Basketball Show here on Sports 1440. I'm Paul Sir, and I'll be your host every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon right here on Sports 1440.
Hey, Edmonton, it's Jordan Baker, coach and general manager of the Edmonton Stingers. Come cheer us on at our home playoff game this Sunday at 6 p.m. at the Edmonton Expo Center. It's our last game here in Edmonton this season, so come experience the thrill of Stingers basketball. Edmonton's most affordable, family-friendly excitement. Tickets start at just $20 and parking is free. Plus, enjoy our $5 food and drink menu. Get your seats online at thestingers.ca or Ticketmaster.
Some people prefer pre-owned to saying used. Sherwood Honda will happily sell you a used vehicle. But first, it will be pre-Sherwood Honda certified with a 159-point pre-inspection. Then pre-stored to Sherwood Honda's high standards. Then they pre-guarantee the lowest finance rates and prevent problems with the 30-day exchange privilege. Pre-owned or used, Sherwood Honda actually has plenty of both in stock with a buying experience you sure would prefer.
Some people see their RV as a way to travel the countryside and explore the great outdoors. For others, it's more like a summer cottage. Sure, it's got wheels, but that doesn't mean that you have to roll it around all the time. And I know someone who uses his RV exactly like this. It's Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Hey Rick, when was the last time you hooked up your trailer and took it somewhere?
Been years, Bob.
You just leave it in one place?
Well, you have to see our campsite. It's near Seba Beach. There's lots of privacy. It's a heavily wooded area, but very close to the lake, with full water and electrical hookup. So my wife, Deanna, and I enjoy cottage life with all its beauty and all the comforts of home.
And the RV you use as a cottage, did you buy it new?
Bob, what are you, nuts? I can happily find you an RV as nice as mine. Got dozens of them on the lot right now. And Deanna and I are living proof that you don't have to pay new RV prices to live the dream.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
You don't care for me. I don't care about that. You got a new boo. I only want to burn and desire. Let me stand next to your fire. Hey, let me stand next to your fire. Oh, let me stand, baby. Let me stand. Listen here, baby. The stack is so crazy.
Can't believe we're almost 3 hours through the show today. It is just absolutely flying by. Nice. Lots to talk about. A GM show today and football and baseball and hockey. If you missed it, went from G. Roy Simon, Steve Hogle to the new GM in Utah. First time as the Utah GM on our show for Bill Armstrong. So if you missed any of that, go to jasongregor.com or anywhere where you get to your podcast. I'll be there. As we get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick. And the savings continue all day, every day at The Brick, up to $850 off sofas or sectionals. You can get 40% off mattresses. You got that lumpy mattress? It's the worst. Get a new one at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. We saw some Drai talk going around Twitter yesterday, or X. So I want to ask you this. When it comes to his contract extension, if it is going to happen, what do you think the length of the deal will be and ballpark for the AAV?
Well, I've been talking about this. Jeff Jackson has outlined it for everyone. I know I get it. Leon Draisaitl, a pretty big name. So I understand it. We're in a time where everybody's like, I can see people say, oh, we're the first to talk about it. What? No, you're not. People have been talking about this for over a month. Okay. Leon Draisaitl, everybody said he's going to get 13 and a half, maybe stretches out to 14. We'll see. The number's really not that different at that point. And would he have taken a shorter deal? Maybe. But that's a lot of money to leave on the table. I can think about it. Even if he's only getting I say 13, that's 52 mil. If he's only taking a 4-year deal, it's going to be a 7 or 8 year deal. And at that point, again, I don't think it changes much. So they look at the 13.5, 7 or 8 year deal. And I expect it to happen in August. It might not happen August 1st. It might not happen until August 21st. I don't know the date. I don't pretend to know the date, but I don't view it as, I know some people like, well, until the deal's done, it's not done. And so some people are worriers, and I respect that. But I would say I would be very surprised if there's not a Draisaitl deal. Very, very surprised. Almost San Jose Shark guarantee. Surprised.
Oh, that's a high level of surprise. Question number 2 for you. Eric Stahl hung him up today. Is he a Hall of Famer? And if so, how long before you think he gets inducted?
Like I know he won a Stanley Cup, but I don't know. Geez, Eric Stahl, Hall of Famer. I don't think so. I know he had the 100-point season in 2005, 2006. Do you have 3 40-goal seasons? Yeah, I don't see him. I'd have to look. Like, I don't think so. My first gut instinct is no, but I do think at times when you get to guys that are going to be on the cusp of certain things, they'll look and say, well, you know what? Here's a guy who played the majority. Although I'd say it is the majority, but he hasn't played in Carolina since 2015-16, right? So it's a fair long time without there. So my initial gut is Joe Pavelski I didn't have in. I don't have Eric Stahl in.
I'm with you. I mean, great career. Very good. Obviously had an Olympic gold medal in there as well as a U18 and a world championship. But the older I get, and it might have been you and Struddy all those years just convincing me, when was he the best of the best? And it's part of the reason I feel like I've maybe even talked myself out of Phillip Rivers, out of a Hall of Fame career. You know, we want to keep this Hall of Fame for the best of the best to ever do it. And for me, for that reason, Eric Stahl doesn't get in, but I do think great career. And, see what his next step is here. Question number 3 for you. Is there a sport at the Olympic Games that maybe going in you weren't really a huge fan of, but it's kind of sucked you in?
You go first.
Yeah, I mean, the one for me, and I just kind of like, it's something I never really watched, but then as the games progress every year, they kind of suck me in. It's the pool events, all of them. Always a fan of 100 meter. I like the diving, but then you start getting into the swimming, and maybe it's the success of the swimmers as of late. Penny Alexiak going back for the last couple of Olympics, and now Summer McIntosh doing what she's been able to do. All of a sudden, swimming has become must watch in the house. So in the pool, the swimming is something that the racing is something that I've really started to get into.
Yeah. Well, the rugby really got my attention. I thought it was awesome. The other one, I like it, so it's not new. So I don't know. I guess if it kind of got me sucked in, I'd have to go rugby thus far.
Question number 4 for you. Since Trey Ford is looking like we're going to get to see him get in to the lineup and start for the Elks over the weekend here, I want to ask you this. Who do you think would be the greatest Canadian-born football player of all time?
Ooh. Russ Jackson, probably. Might be my first name. I know that's a wait. It's a long time ago. If I went to recent memory, it's a good question, man. Yeah, I'd still probably have to go with Russ, though. You?
There's a few, but you said you go back a long way. I might go back even further. I'm not exactly sure. How about Bronco Nagurski? Hall of Famer. He was a 3-time NFL champion. Now, he was born in Ontario and moved to Minnesota, but I said Canadian born.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking with it.
I like to be like, you played a lot of time there. So yeah, he'd be it. But there's, you know what? There's obviously been quite a few of them. No question about it. So it's good.
Guys are bringing it now. Javon Holland with the the Dolphins. You got obviously Chuba, Josh Palmer. They're all over the NFL right now, making Canada proud. My final question for you today: Gregor Schwarzenegger turned 77. He's got some of the best action movies out there. Of all his films, what would top your list?
How many Schwarzenegger films have you seen?
A good chunk of them, I would say.
Okay.
Not all of them.
All right.
Terminator. My dad's a Schwarzenegger guy. Loved the kind of corny one-liners in them. So,
he's had a few beauty ones. Hasta la vista, baby. Like, this is a really good question because he has some. He had a lot there. Like, obviously, the Terminator was very unique. But if I had to pick, I think Commando might be my favorite of his. So, because I think I'd have to go action, but then I'd have to go like the comedic Arnold as well, and then True Lies is going to get some votes for me. Even Kindergarten Cop, I thought is pretty funny. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say Predator would be the one for me. And then if we're giving some fun votes, every Christmas, bit of a tradition. Got to watch. The name slips my mind. And Jingle All the Way. Where he's trying to get the toy for his son with Sinbad in it. Jingle All the Way, a classic.
Gee, you know what? I think that's a movie that I've never seen. Connor Halley's seen a movie I haven't seen. What is happening?
We did it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that. With him and Sinbad?
Sinbad is they're both trying to get this toy for their kids.
Oh.
Schwarzenegger's he works too hard, you know. Did
they start raining blows upon one another, thinking there had to be another way? Frank Costanza, classic.
There is a scene in a parade where I think they might exchange it a little bit, but you have to check it out. There's also a second one with Larry the Cable Guy, which I have not seen. I will not.
Probably didn't miss much. No. A few quick texts before we get to the break. Hey guys, how many more years could the Elks take losing $4 to $5 million before we worry about the team moving or leaving? From GM Parisian. Well, it's a good question. I would think that that's part of the owner who purchased this team has seen the books, right? He's seen the numbers, and Edmonton right now is in a downturn. There's no question about it. But consider that Saskatchewan is a football hotbed, and they were on death's door step for a while, and then they came back. I have no doubt in my mind you can do the same thing in Edmonton. You're going to have an owner who has some patience, who has to have a plan. I would like to think he's got a plan. I don't think you just go buy a CFL team. Well, I'll figure it out after the fact. I hope not. My understanding is that's not the case. I'll be curious. Do they have a president of football operations and a president of like the business side of things? Is it one who runs both? Right? Because Hamilton has, there's obviously Bob Young, but then they have, there's the ownership group. Then they have a president, Orlando Steinhauer, on the one side. Then they have a president of business operations on the other. So there's different ways you do it. But I would like to think he had that plan. So I'm going to be positive, Grant, and I'm going to say it's a ways away. I think that you're going to have somebody who can come in, devise a plan. Hey, you're going to have some smart people there. There's not going to be one person who comes in and saves everything. Football operations has to be better. I really think that despite it being a terrible team last year, I've actually seen a lot of positive sides from the marketing team. I've liked some of the ideas they've come up with quite well, actually. And I think right now there's just so many people perturbed about other elements that they're not even noticing that stuff. And you will notice that stuff even more when the team wins. That's just the truth. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. You can try the cookies and cream booster ball, a little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Download the Booster Rewards app today and order one only at Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Canada has taken silver in the women's rugby sevens at the Paris Olympics after losing to New Zealand 19-12 in the championship game earlier today. Their previous best finish in rugby sevens was the Real Games, where they finished in third. Twin sisters Catherine and Michelle Plouffe combined for 18 points as Canada opened up its run at the 3-on-3 tournament with a 22-14 win over Australia. Coming up next, China tomorrow, and RJ Barrett had a game-high 24 points for the Canadian men's basketball team as they improved to 2-0 in group play with a 93-83 victory over Australia. Their next action comes Friday morning, 9:15, when they'll take on Spain. The Calgary Flames signed restricted free agent goaltender Dustin Wolf to a 2-year contract with an AAV of $850,000. He had a 3.16 goals against average and an .893 save percentage in 17 games last season with the Flames. And the Carolina Hurricanes announced today that forward Eric Stahl retiring after 18 seasons in the NHL. They also said they will retire his number 12 upcoming this season. Montreal Alouettes quarterback Cody Fajardo returned to practice today after being removed from the 6-game injured list. He suffered the injury back on July 11th in a loss to the Argos in the first quarter. It was his hamstring, and the Everett Silvertips have hired former Oil Kings head coach Steve Hamilton to be their new bench boss. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays in action. Right now, they trail the Orioles 1-0 in the top of the second. Elsewhere, the Yankees have a 1-0 lead over the Phillies. Marlins up on the race 2-0. And Cards Rangers delayed in the top of the first. That one is scoreless. Earlier on today, the Guardians blanked the Tigers 5-0. And the Edmonton Riverhawks in action tonight. They'll take on Victoria just after 8 o'clock. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and former NHLer Jason Strudwick. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCarthy. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
You turn on the tap and water comes out. You press the handle and flush the toilet. Living in our modern world, we sometimes take for granted or don't even think about all of the services and conveniences that are around us every day. But GS Construction does. Right under your feet, there's a whole network of underground infrastructure that needs to be built and maintained in order to have these basic services. GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community for 50 years. Find out more by going to gsconstruction.ca.
It's the Bricks 53rd birthday bash, and you're invited to join us. We're kicking off the celebration with fabulous 5-day deals. From Thursday to Monday, take up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. And all week long, check out amazing deals in every department, like up to 25% off dining and bedroom furniture, and buy more, save more, up to $300 off select major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Rule number 12, not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina? Next, he'll tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Just after 5 o'clock on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code SUMMER, and you'll get a free $50 casino play at PlayAlberta.ca. Some news today. Canada, another medal, silver in rugby sevens. Fantastic stretch of games for the Canadian women, defeating the number 3 ranked France, number 2 ranked Australia to get to the final against number 1 ranked New Zealand and pushed them right to the limits. It's a heck of a game, heck of a tournament for the rugby 7 women's team, and it's great to see. Best result ever in rugby at Olympics, and that's kind of been the theme through 4 days of the Olympics. First time ever, judo, synchronized diving. You look at now in rugby. Also have McIntosh and her dominant performance in the individual medley. It's been good times. Good time. Fencing from Eleanor Harvey, first ever medal. So it's been a great start. That's what I said at the start, man. I'm hoping we get some people that you didn't think would medal, and now we've had already 4 or 5. Now the gold, of course, we knew she was going to medal, but not guaranteed she get a gold in judo. But still, she was one of the favorites going in. So and which doesn't guarantee anything, so still have to perform, and she did, which was awesome. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, and they perform where a lot of times you don't see it. The importance of underground construction, and just take few things for granted. Water and everything else out gets to you. That's what they do. They are the grinders that don't get the appreciation. GS Construction, as Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how'd that tweet go over? Your rugby soccer tweet, was it 50-50? Like, people, how would they view your rugby soccer tweet?
I don't know. I would say, why don't you call it up and see how many likes there were? I noticed a few of the early replies, and I stopped looking. Everyone was on my side.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they should take every guy in the U23, the soccer tournament in the Olympics, and make them watch those last 2 Canadian rugby games and tell them to act like a bunch of girls, because those girls are so much tougher and put up with so much more pain and endurance than any soccer player I've ever seen, rolling around in the turf when they barely get touched. I got a lot of respect for those girls playing rugby. Why? You think I'm wrong?
No. Now there's different cultures in the sport, no question about it. I do know that they're trying to change it in soccer. I don't think they'll ever get it out. And they could. All they'd have to do is really penalize embellishment, and it would stop. But they just don't seem to want to do it. So what have you? Away they go. But that rugby matchup, man, there was some hellacious plays. Like, it's just it's unique about it is that's just part. If you play rugby, you learn from a young age of playing the sport that hard physical tackles that are clean, that's just part of the game. You don't get upset. You know what? Now, I'm sure there are times, because that's only a few games, where, I've seen it, where somebody crosses the line. And, hey, I've seen a few brawls in rugby. Somebody stomping on their nuts or, on the privates of a woman. It's happened. So there's always a few kachucks in every sport. But that run by the rugby team was outstanding to see. From France to Australia to New Zealand, it was outstanding.
Yeah, it is. They look at how far they went. And again, they're just not, I mean, they play the game the way it's supposed to be played. There was a tackle that got made that turned out to be a penalty on New Zealand, head-to-head contact, no helmets or anything, right? And man, our girl, she got drilled head-to-head. Like, that's pretty serious contact. That she made the play. Like, she didn't lie around and roll around. She got up, made the play. And I saw the New Zealand woman who scored their last try with a big, her eyes halfway closed, and she's got a big patch over her eye from some contact she took. So my point is, I got a lot of respect for rugby. I talked about with Kevin this morning. I got a lot of respect for the sport, for the game. I have respect for the way that sport teaches your kids to respect the officials.
Yes.
Far more than hockey does. The coaches and everyone aren't yelling at the refs all day at a rugby game, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be proud of that, of the women's 7 side today. They, beating Australia is a big deal, and taking New Zealand right down to the end. I mean, New Zealand is as good as it gets in the rugby world.
Now that Piper Logan is a hell of a player to watch. She's so fast, but it's not just her breakaway speed, it's her lateral speed. And man, can she, like, she's quick and fast.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? This is the beauty of the Olympics, right? We wouldn't watch Piper Logan play rugby anywhere if it wasn't for the Olympic Games. We love this. Every 4 years we get introduced to the Piper Logans and the Summer McIntoshes and all the people, the basically amateur athletes for whom there really is no professional game. I mean, where does a professional women's rugby player go? Is there pro women's rugby somewhere? Maybe there is. I don't know, but certainly not in Canada. So it's great to see these people. It's great to meet them. It's great to see them, for our kids to see them. They set a great example, and you know what? It makes you proud to be a Canadian once in a while, right?
Well, it's fun. It is great. Do you think the women's soccer team, we know they have their game tomorrow. My understanding is that France time, they're going to come down with the decision about 7 hours before kickoff, maybe a little bit before that, but 2 o'clock at the latest, their time, for a decision on whether or not they're going to reduce the 6-point suspension and a reduction, I should say. It's not really a suspension, or they'll uphold it. What do you think they do? And are you surprised? Like, I've been reading, there's lots of other people in soccer who are like, this is a really dumb thing to do, but they don't view it as like, it's not like steroids or anything like that. What do you make of the whole situation? Do you think they might actually get a reduction here, which means then Canada could win their pool?
Well, they certainly have nothing to lose. I mean, my understanding of the point system is even if they reduced it by 1 point, it would certainly help. If they can win, it would almost confirm them into a quarterfinal game, which is really all they're looking to do here, right? They're just trying to get into a quarterfinal game. So I don't know what I don't know what this is a FIFA ruling, correct? This is not the IOC. This is FIFA. No. So I don't know what FIFA, how they work. Like, for instance, I know how hockey works. When people appeal suspensions, it never goes anywhere. Bettman rules, that's what it is, and that's what it is. I don't know what FIFA's history is. Do you?
No, but the one thing I respect is at least they're hearing it before the game, right? The NHL, the reason the NHL appeal process is such a farce is that if you get suspended for 5 games, you don't have to have your hearing before the 5 games are complete. So what's the point? Well, we're going to appeal it. And then, by the way, now our appeal comes out and you've already sat out your game. So at minimum, maybe you can get some of the money back that you lost, but you don't miss it. Like, it's so ridiculous. There's no reason. You should have it like MLB, where if you appeal, you get to play until the appeal is heard. It's a very simple fix.
Sure, that's fair. So I don't know what happens, in the soccer world. I'm not sure if their history is that they might back off of 6 points and make it 4. I don't know. I just don't know what to tell you. I'm not sure how FIFA reacts to these things, but I'll say this. I think that the players I'm not even sure that the players, I mean, I guess they're going to know. These players don't, the way they're going at it right now, they're just focused on beating Colombia. I love what's going on that women's soccer team. Like, they're focused down. They've cut off the outside world. They're all about them and them only. And I think they could turn out yet to be one of the great Canadian stories of these Olympics. If they get a quarterfinal game by winning against Colombia and being 3-0 in their group, if they can find their way to a quarterfinal game, do you want to be the team that plays them? Boy, I wouldn't want to be that team.
Now, I have to ask you, Spec, there's right now, I think they have like 17 men who said they saw the footage from the Honduras drone in 2021. But not one woman has said they have seen the footage of any of the drones from their practices. So very possible it could happen. But what would be the point then? Right? If you get the footage, what's the point? Or was this the first time they've ever tried it? That's why they didn't get it. I don't know. But that's the one question I'll have here is, so you got 17 men saying, yeah, we saw it. And the women, so either A, they've just started introducing it to the women's cheating technique. And maybe that was the first time they did and they got caught. I have no idea. I don't know. But it does. That's the one thing where I'm like, like, why would you record it and then not show the footage? Or unless this is the first time they've ever done it for a women's game.
You know what? It's a good question. Like, don't ask me to think like a total cheater thinks, right? don't ask me to think like a cheater thinks. Like I'm. Hey, listen, I got my issues. Everyone has their issues. I would never do something like that, right? Nor would any team that I was a part of ever consider that to be some way to gain an advantage. I would not. That's how I was raised. You don't. What the hell are you doing? You're absolutely flat out cheating. So people are complaining about FIFA suspension. I don't. It kind of reminds me of let's go back to hockey, the sport we know. It kind of reminds me of a game where you outplay the other team the whole way, and you don't score your goals, you don't capitalize your chances, and then a ref's call hurts you in the end, and we all blame the ref. I don't blame the ref. I blame the team that didn't score the goals. This, to me, is don't blame FIFA for their suspension, right? Look in the mirror and look at the Canadian Soccer Association people who caused this ruling in the first place. I'm not blaming FIFA no matter what they do. I'm looking at the people in Ottawa or Toronto, whoever their offices are, and I'm looking at Herdman and I'm looking at Priestman. Those are the people that need to answer some questions here. This isn't about FIFA in my mind.
Yeah, well, Herdman's no longer part of it. I don't even know what they can do for him, right? Like I don't think MLS is going to do anything. Like, I could be wrong, but that's the part that I'm kind of curious about here.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, to me, it's just a stain on his character. But maybe everyone in soccer does this. I don't know, man. I just think it speaks very poorly of everybody at the Canadian Soccer Association.
Yes.
They've taken a few steps back in my esteem. That's for sure.
Yeah, I never loved. I don't want to project. Well, if one person gets caught, that means everybody's doing it. I think steroid era in baseball showed us that. Not like the FBI, when all the research still only had a list of 100 players, and the league had the league had 600 plus players, right? So maybe even more than that. Probably close to, what am I saying? 32 times 25. Yeah, like even more than that. So
yeah,
I look at it's like 800, and they only had a list of 100 cheaters. So I would think. Somebody might do something. It's like, hey, does everybody cheat like the Patriots did? No. There's sadly, there's always going to be a minority that's looking to find an advantage and not have it above board. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying I would love to get in a utopian world in sports where it never happens. But sadly, there's all it takes is one person to want to try to cheat to win, to ruin it for everybody else.
Oh, for sure. I mean, sports, listen, and the Olympic sports are permeated by doping, and that's why WADA exists, and that's why, all these athletes are getting tested like crazy. They're only getting tested because people cheat like crazy, So that's just the way. That's our world we live in. I'm with you, Jay. It's not for me. I wouldn't, suggest to my own child to do steroids. If that's what it took to win, I'd say, well, then I guess you should do something else because it's just not right for me. But you know what? I'll tell you this. It's like the old Lance Armstrong story, right? Here's Lance Armstrong telling everybody, I'm the fastest guy in a peloton filled with steroid users, but I'm not using steroids, right? Anyone who believed that for a minute, was just completely naive. It was absolutely no question in anyone's mind that knew anything about doping. Lance Armstrong was doping, and he was doping the whole time through, even though he said he wasn't.
Yeah, no, it's...
Right.
Oh yeah, and then we were talking about Rafael Palmeiro. Remember him at the standing at his table, smacking his hand on the table. I didn't cheat, and then 3 weeks later, all the evidence comes out that he did. And you look in society, people be like, "Oh no, not guilty, sir," and there's all the evidence that sexual abuse or murder or whatever. So that there's people that will lie straight face even when the evidence is right in front of them to say they did it, and they'll be like, "No, I didn't do it." So sports is never going to immune to that, unfortunately, but the majority of the people I don't believe are. I think there's the vast majority of athletes are clean, and that's what we focus on. And I think that'll be great. We had Geroy Simon on the show earlier today, Spec, confirming that Trey Ford will be indeed getting his opportunity moving forward. I do want to talk to Jarius Jackson just about why did he even take 2 games? Why wasn't he coming out to start the third quarter? Right? I'm just curious. Just tell me the reasoning. I don't have to like it, but I just want to know what it is. And you can say, well, we've moved ahead. No, you have to explain why, because it looks like such an egregious decision.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the subtext to the whole Trey Ford thing for me is, we could sit and argue about how good we think Trey Ford might be one day and what's going to happen if he gets some snaps. Is he going to improve? What's going to, what will the end product be like? But I've watched enough of Bethel Thompson to see that there's not enough there. There's nothing there. Why aren't you moving on from that body of work? That's my point. It's not like he's getting much done. Sure, he had a nice start to the season. They couldn't win any games. The other day, what do you have, 85 yards passing in 3/4 of football, the CFL? I mean, that's part of half of it for me. You might not like Trey Ford, but tell me why you like Bethel Thompson's game. There's nothing there.
No, there definitely is not. Spec, have yourself a great night. Get some oil in that squeaky wheel, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
There you go. That's Mark Spector. Was he on he's sitting on a riding bike there? I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a wind chime in the background. It's rather squeaky. We'll see. Well, when we return back from holidays, Jason Strudwick. What did he think of the return of Celine? Is it funny that Celine Dion and Struds are both returning? It's a weird coincidence. We'll talk about it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt. And fan favorite, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today, or download the Booster Rewards app.
Hey, it's Brad McCory here from St. Albert Dodge. I'm here to say you do not want to miss our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks. It really is your last chance to drive a brand new Ram truck off the lot with 25% off. When these are gone, they're gone. Or how about a Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 in savings and 0% financing on every model? Come see how we earn our industry-leading 4.6 Google review rating. You're going to love how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Mr. Rooter sends his daughter to university.
You're sure you don't want to go to plumbing school?
No, Dad. I want to be a civil engineer so I can plan the sewers.
What a dreamer. I have a surprise. Your dad, Mr. Rooter, is going to pay your tuition.
Oh my gosh, really?
Here you go.
Oh, coins. Why are they so dirty?
Well, it's every coin I ever snaked out of a toilet. You're welcome, sweetheart.
Ugh, for an A-plus plumbing experience, call Mr. Rooter.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And nothing moves Albertans better than Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Here now with rates as low as 0% or savings up to $17,000. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. 0% or $17,000 off F-150s. Only at Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Summer adventures are more fun in a new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Home of the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada.
All this month, get 0% financing on all 2024 Mitsubishi models.
Plus, get up to a $3,000 trade-in bonus.
And double the loyalty rebate for all existing Mitsubishi owners, up to $1,000.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Oh, a little ABBA for you on a Tuesday afternoon. And you know what that means. Time for the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com, where how about this? 10 years or $1 million 1 million kilometer warranty on all demos that you can get at Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership. Volvo Cars Edmonton.com, as we welcome back to the show on the Got Your Back podcast, former NHLer Jason Strudwick. And Struddy, the main question of the day was, how, like, did you bury the hatchet? Was the opening ceremony, was it watchable for you to see the great snubber Celine Dion back performing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple years. I had to let it go. I don't want to carry that anger or forever in my soul. But you know what? My sister filled me in that she had a lot of challenges with some health issues and wonder if she could be able to sing again. And then for her to see her there singing, I thought was incredible. And I love where she was singing from. Like, what an opportunity. But I guess my thing would be, I don't think she's from France. So why is she singing there? Like, a lot of that opening ceremony, I didn't understand how there was a lot of non-France natives involved in some pretty big part, like Rafael Nadal. Like, I love him, but I don't think he's born there. So why is he carrying the torch that close to the end? Like, he was one of the last 20 people to touch it.
Well, I'd have to look if maybe Celine's parents are from there.
Could be.
Right?
Could be.
That
and Serena Williams, same thing. Like, I love Serena, but like, how would we react if we brought in like John McEnroe to light the torch in Toronto? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really get it, but I don't know. Maybe there was a reason for it.
Yeah, and her mother was actually born in Quebec, so not the case. But yeah, I think they went big and they brought in lots of stars from other places that were recognized. But I would agree with you. Like, to me, when you host it, then you're proud of your Canadians and you bring in big Canadian. I agree with you. That's what I would do. I'd say, hey, you know what? We're hosting as a country. We don't need some big name American or big name Spaniard or whoever to promote the opening ceremony. Now, some might argue and say, well, it's for the world. I'm like, no, they're the host country. That's the whole point of being the host country, is to promote your.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like, you think about when Beijing hosted it, and what was it, the Bird's Nest, and like, because you kind of want to learn what they do there, and I or not what they do, but like, just kind of what they value as and what their talents are. They're known for, right? So I don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter. The Olympics are off and running, but I think it's an opportunity to showcase your country. And that's why I was just surprised when I saw some what I would call classic French people or from France being involved.
Strade, I will get to the Olympics in a sec, but I want to ask you, Eric Stahl signs a one-day contract with the Hurricanes. And of course, nowadays, when any player retires, everyone's like, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. I've seen it, I don't know if you've even had time to look at it, but where do you, like, I look at Eric Stahl and I'm like, I don't see a Hall of Famer. Do you?
No, I don't. And I mean, that's what's like a tremendous amount of respect for a guy that played. He had to be 1,400 games or so, 1,300, whatever it is. Amazing career. But, I think to be a Hall of Famer at some point, you have to have been one of the best or the best at your position or in your job. And he was really good. There's no doubt about it. Like, a really good center. Just that, that top line center, you want big, could do a lot of different things. And then he extended his career a long time. But I just don't see him up there with a Joe McGinley or that high level, like super high level. Like, he can see them from where he's at, but I don't think he's there. So incredible career. I'd be surprised if he was a Hall of Famer.
Okay. Looking at a few deals in the NHL, we saw Brock Faber, 8 years at 8.5. And you know what? Bill Guerin had said, hey, I don't know if you saw the video or not, though, when he signed him, he just said, hey, Brock, don't worry about the money. That's, you know what? You got the money because you earned it. You don't have to earn it all in your first game. Right. So don't let it stress you out or anything like that. And, he's like, they know he can be a really good defensive defenseman, which is harder to do at a young age. I think that's obvious. But, what do you make of Faber and where you think he can go? Some people are like, oh, this is a steal by Minnesota because this guy's going to be $11 million defense. But I'm like, man, $11 million, that means you got to be a pretty high-end offensive guy. And he's never really been a high-end offensive guy.
Yeah, so, he was a guy that I'd heard his name, but I didn't watch him. I didn't know a lot about him prior to his arrival with the Wild. And then watching him play, he's a very smart player and can really kind of get around the ice well. But I think what Billy's trying to do is maybe establish a foundation for his team. Say, this is one of our guys, and this is what it's going to look like for a number of years. They have those 2 massive contracts or buyouts that are, going to hurt them for a little bit here, but they can now kind of, they're not at the end, but they can kind of see closer to the end of what it's going to look like when those guys are gone. And he's trying to put those cornerstone guys in there. It is quite a bit of money for that. But when I look at, I always like seeing the minutes played. And I think he was like top 6 or top 5, I think, in minutes played. And that's pretty incredible for a young player to get that done. So if you can get a minute-eating defenseman tied up for that long on that deal, and I'm assuming the salary cap's going to continue to go up over the next 8 years, the percentage is high now, or will be high a calendar year from now, or whatever it is, a hockey season from now. But it'll be, the percentage will go down. So maybe the back half, he's underpaid or atpaid.
Yeah. Looking now, moving to the Olympics, and what do you make of the drone? I don't know. Do you ever have a coach you ever play at any level where, somebody was, doing something, cheating that you guys were aware of? Do you ever have that presented to you?
I don't remember anyone really cheating, as far as that goes. And I was really caught off guard. Like, this doesn't feel like the Canadian thing to do. And I don't know if I should be happy that he did it because maybe we're getting out of our comfort zone as Canadians, or that it's like not what we do. So why do we do it? And, it's hard now. Does it taint their last Olympics, their Olympic gold medal? Like, how does it affect the players on the field that are fighting for their lives to try to now make up to 6 points to make it to, on past their group? And I don't really understand why you do it at that time. Like, a drone isn't a quiet thing. If anyone's seen a drone, you can hear it going around and what's happening. So maybe someone would recognize it. It's not like someone just standing, with mustaches and sunglasses on, hanging around, looking around the corner where it's like, is he looking at us? Is he doing it? Or is she taking something from us? A drone is something that's high, that you can hear it, you see it, and it's pretty clear what you're doing in that moment. So, yeah, I was disappointed that they chose to do that. I don't really understand the advantage. Like, can you not get that from scouting them in other plays, or scout the coach what tendency he has, or the players what tendency they have, whether it's out of the corner or off of free kicks in your half? So I was, as a Canadian, I was disappointed. Not as disappointed as when Ben Johnson had his goal brought back, but it's kind of up there, right? Like, it's a bit of a stain on our Canadian soccer legacy.
Yeah. When you have all the players say they never got any of the information from it, to me, I always looked and said, like, what do you honestly think you're getting from the drone footage that's going to give you such a massive advantage? That's what I never really understood.
So why do it? Well, then why bother, right?
Struddy, 100%. I get it. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what makes it so dumb. It's like the dumbest cheating thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a weird vibe. It's just a really weird, and just doesn't feel Canadian. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like we're like always on. We're just going to play fair. We're going to try to, we're just going to do it right, and we'll win it. When you hear Christine Sinclair talk about, we never saw it. I'm like, well, what is the coach getting out of it? Are you preparing that tightly for it? So, I don't know. And the other part is, the fine. It's not like Soccer Canada has a ton of cash. So what is it, $250,000?
Oh, yeah, that's a big fine.
Quite a bit of money, for a group that, it seems like the money has been at the heart of a lot of the issue between the players and their Soccer Canada. So how does that play out? And it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But I hope this group of players can make it to the next round, or to, get out of their group so that you can feel good about themselves. And at least that part, they weren't hurt by it too much.
Yeah, well, we'll find out tomorrow because they've appealed it and they might reduce it. We'll find out or not. But if they beat Columbia, even if they don't reduce it, they're still through. If they beat Columbia, right. And there's a pretty good chance they should be able to do that. What sports is Strudwick watching attentively at the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm a pretty early riser, so a lot of these things fit right into my wheelhouse. So today I made a point of getting up to watch Canada basketball. I thought it was great to see them. They look really good. The guys look really good, but that's pretty easy to pick that one out. BMX bike. I thought of you, your Kuahara bike, how you'd be riding around on it.
Oh my God, I'd love it.
They were so good. These guys were so incredible. Now, I'm sure there's women that do it, but I didn't see that. I just saw the guys this morning, and there was a Canadian in there, and the tricks that these guys pulled in a minute to just fly all over this course and what they were doing, I was blown away. And my kids started coming down while I was on, and we were all just riveted watching this incredible athletic performance of something that, quite frankly, other than when the X Games is maybe on TV, I don't really see much of it. So yeah, the BMX biking's been really cool to watch.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, Struddy. Well, as you know, we have the bike hill up by my house, and so it's not the same. You can't get the same sort of air. You know, like to me, if I'm getting about 4 inches, I'm pretty pumped off of it. So I did wheel out the Green Goblin for a tour the other day with my son. So he still hasn't got because you can't change the height of the seat on the old Kuahara. So he can't really ride it yet. So that's why he doesn't think it's cool yet. So he likes to look at it.
If you can jump over the St. Albert Gazette, I would be impressed.
Oh, buddy. Are you kidding me? Killing it on the track. Probably, no joke. Probably, I'm probably underselling. I probably got a good 9 inches of air. At least 9 inches. Maybe even more. So probably a good half a tire.
You're like the 7-year-old hockey player that comes in and tells his parents, "You see me go bar down," and it barely gets off the ice. Every goal is bar down. Oh yeah, okay, great.
You know what? There's no pictures on the score sheets, right? I'm just getting around there. The problem is I've got a really hard seat right now, and I forgot that, and was a little high strung coming home after the tour. So it was funny though. I had a good little laugh because I was watching that with my son. I said, "Hey, let's go wheel out to the hill," and he's like, "You're an idiot."
But when they're twisting their bike, I think they call it a rotation, where you hold the handlebars and they kick it around.
Yeah.
And the guys, I think one guy did it twice. I don't see any threes. I didn't say it didn't happen. But to snap it around twice and then get your feet back in position and land it, like that's incredible. I have a hard time just, as I'm driving, hit the left turn, much less flip it 3 times. Like it's just crazy. They're so athletic. It was really impressive.
What event do you think would be the most difficult for you to even try?
Oh man, that would be pole vault. Probably the pole vault, right? Okay. Like I think I'm long enough. I think you have to be kind of tall, but I mean, I'm not light. Like not that those people are, but they're kind of long and lean, right? They're kind of like the blue people from that show that Connor loves to watch, and get over. I think that would be a really tough one. I think and then the courage. I know you're not starting at 15 feet, but the courage to just plant that pole and just get up there. I don't know. I love falling on the mat, but the mat isn't everywhere. You miss the mat a few times.
I love falling on the mat. Oh my God. Yeah. That pole vault. Well, to me, without question, the any sort of like the real high, like the balance beam or like the gymnastic ones, because I got no flexibility. Yeah. Like it would, even to try to do the rings. Like I know, like when they do the iron cross and they make it look easy. I've been in a gym to try where like to get your arms full, it's impossible. Like it's literally impossible. And so to me, that one would be, and any swim that's more than 100 meters, I'm dying. There's no question about it. Like even 100 meters is going to take me probably triple what they're doing it in. So the swimming would be very humbling. The gymnastics would be virtually impossible. I think for me, the one though that I watched that I wish I would be good at. And the fact that maybe the dream's not over, Struddy, because as Declan was telling us, did you see the 58-year-old first-time Olympian in table tennis?
58.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Jeez, that's pretty impressive in table tennis. I've watched a little bit. They're fast. Those guys are fast.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's really where I'm at, but did you happen to see the guy that had the Clark Kent glasses on last night, the pommel horse?
Oh, where he was like, he was sleeping while on the side. It looked like he was resting before it was his turn. Yeah, he was awesome.
I loved it. I love that guy. I don't know who he is, but that guy, he should never buy another beer in his hometown. Like, I love the way he looks. He's got those glasses. Like, I've never seen anyone do gymnastics with glasses on before. I mean, maybe it happens, but it was so cool to see him on the pommel horse. It's so pumped. I thought that was a pretty cool moment.
He's the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of gymnastics.
He looked good, man. He looked good. Kids everywhere are going to be getting those glasses now.
Oh, God. He's like, if he doesn't have an eyeglassware sponsorship, then somebody's doing it wrong.
No, right? He's killing it. He looks so cool. He looks like a cool guy. Like, it was pretty impressive. Like that pommel horse, that's a lot of upper body strength too, right? That's guns a-blazing.
Oof, dude. Hey, what's the hardest yoga class you've ever taken?
Sometimes I do like I've done a 90-minute hot yoga, and it's like, they call it power flow. I don't know if it's, everyone's got the same name for it, but that's pretty hard to keep that in there and keep, you're doing downward dog and holding it for a long time. The old shoulders and guns start just a-blazing. Why, are you into yoga now?
Well, I'm trying to get. I went to a sunset flow yoga last night. I don't even know what class I'm signing up for. And dude, and so we had our instructor, who's Sean, and Sean's the instructor. He was filling in. He's only been teaching for a year. I found this out after. Sean's, I'm just guessing, but if he's late 50s, he's early 60s. It's one of the two. And anyway, so we're doing this stuff, and it starts out all right. It's in a 40-degree room, and I like that because get a good sweat on. Everything's great. I'm as flexible as a crowbar, so I need as much help as I can get. But then he starts getting into like this downward dog. Now you lift your back leg up, strutting. You got it bending over your side. Then he wants you to fold it over on your left side. Then you bring it down to your elbow, and then you flare it out. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking? And I'm watching him like, I could do a few of them. And then finally I'm like trying to hold it. My legs quivering. I got the Jimmy legs shaking. And finally I'm like, okay, I got to rest. My glutes are firing. I'm watching this guy. Then he's going into these poses. He goes, well, if you think you can try this one. Now he's balancing on like his elbow and his wrist. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It was amazing. So I was talking to him afterwards, and I'm like this guy's strength, like yoga's no joke. To just hold some of those poses in the balance, I had a new respect for it, because I've taken a few yoga classes, but never like that.
No, it feels so good, and it is a hard workout. I mean, like you say, you sweat it all out. Now, did the gentleman comment that you had the tightest hamstrings he's ever seen?
No, but they're probably true, Struddy. There's no joke about it. But he did comment on the svelteness of my legs, though. So not the tightness of it, but svelte.
Yes, svelte.
Yeah.
He's like, did you lose 5 inches in each hamstring in an accident? Can't touch your kneecap.
Oh, no, buddy. I've been stretching. You know what? I actually can touch my toes now. Like, it's
what?
like,
no.
Yes, dude. That's why I was like, I've been working on this for a month, and I was able to touch my toes. And more like standing up, it's not as easy as it is sitting down. I found I can lean over a little bit better. But I can get a good one, and so that's nice. But that's about the range of my flexibility. You get anything else there, and it's still very humbling. But that yoga flow last night was next level. So I was telling all of our listeners out there that anybody out there who wants to try challenging, then go to one of those. And you said your hardest one was flow. Now I only did 60 minutes. Like I'm not ready to do 90 yet, but maybe that'll be my goal in a few months, is to try a 90-minute. So.
And you walk out, you feel like Gumby, so loose. You sweat out all the toxins. Like, I feel great after I come out of there. It's more of a winter. I don't do a lot in the summer, but the winter I try to get in there and just grind it out.
No, I got to go right now, buddy. Just trying to keep it, get back in shape, get a bit of limber. So it's nice. One last one for you, Struddy. We're nearing in August, and we've been saying, Jeff Jackson pretty much lined it out for everybody, and everybody's still freaking out that Leon Draisaitl wasn't signed. I'm like, guys, he was never signed until the GM was signed. Well, the GM just signed. So I'm asking a two-part question. A, give me your thoughts on the GM signing. And then B, like Leon Draisaitl, 8 years at 13.5. It's kind of like the most obvious contract, is it not?
Yeah, well, let's do the second part. Like when you look at Matthews, I think that's where you kind of start, and then you go from there, right? And whether it's up or down, a small percentage, but I think that's right where he is. And then Connor slots in above that. I think that's kind of the natural order of things, the way that it works. So yeah, I think, and I'm just, as a guy who, likes watching good hockey and seeing good hockey players, I'm excited to think that Leon would sign up for 7 or 8 years, right? I mean, I know that towards the end it might get, it might not be the same, but he's been on a pretty good contract for a while, so maybe they pay him back that way. But you want to retain top flight players, and he is one of the best players in the world. And if he wants to stay, I'm only guessing, but the 97 will want to stay, and then keeps your window open for longer and keeps your stars at home, which I think is important, or in your organization. As far as Stan, when I look at that situation, you want as much talent as you can to both on and off the ice. He's a guy that's been around. He's not super old. He's got some experience in winning, dealing with stars, and understanding what that looks like. And as far as the off ice thing, I find that as a coach of young hockey players, there's a lot of people outside of coaches and GMs in minor hockey that are trying to influence the game and whether it's different ways you approach it or dealing with situations in there, and not a lot of people that are actually in it, like coaches. And I'm talking about minor hockey, or not NHL, minor hockey, where you're trying to work through something that makes sense. Like an example is, not sure everyone's familiar, but the players were supposed to leave. They're supposed to arrive in their undergarment, put their gear on, then leave with their undergarment on. And that probably makes sense when you're in a nicer place. When it's minus 40, it's hard to ask a 10-year-old to go out in the freezing cold in their wet gear. So, these are things that as a coach frustrate me, because it's like, I understand what they're trying to do, but it's in practice, it puts more pressure on the coaches and the family and the managers to solve out, okay, was everyone okay with this? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? And like, I personally have a hard time with that. So I say all that. Stan Bowman now is in a very public place where he can speak to and help adjust the way that things are done in hockey. Now, there's a situation in Chicago, there's a sexual abuse. Yes, it does happen. But he made a comment I thought was interesting when he talked about bullying. And I think that's something that is important to try to get out of the game as well. And everywhere. It doesn't just happen. It happens everywhere.
Yep.
You talk to teachers, they talk about it. But I think he now has a platform, and I hope he uses it to talk about how we can do that and how it works. And instead of being on the outside, he is now on the inside of the hockey, and he can use his platform, not just in Edmonton, but across Canada. And I know he does some work in the States, but have that effect so we can talk about change from the inside rather than others on the outside trying to dictate and thinking this is a good idea. So I'm actually excited to see what he does. And I hope he does do it and not just try, okay, I'm back in the NHL. Work on helping the game get better.
Yeah, well, I'm with you on the changing rule was so narrow-minded and not thought out. It's embarrassing. So they need to rethink that one, because it's I think it's been pretty clear that their plan of the idea might make sense in one small percentage to a small group of people, but it doesn't work for the majority in any sensible fashion.
Complicates it, right? It complicates things for coaches and minor and managers. I'm trying to figure out what everybody wants to do. Like I get it, but it doesn't. One size doesn't fit all, especially here in Edmonton with our cold winters. Like Ashland kids will walk out in wet gear. Oh, just put your jacket on. Oh, okay, yeah, you try it, see how it feels.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, it's a very dumb idea. Good point, Struddy. Good to have you back, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, right on, man.
There you go. That's Jason Strudwick. Brought to you by Action Electrical. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
It's the Brick's 53rd birthday bash, and you're invited to join us. We're kicking off the celebration with fabulous 5-day deals from Thursday to Monday. Take up to $920 off sofas and sectionals. And all week long, check out amazing deals in every department, like up to 25% off dining and bedroom furniture. Buy more, save more. Up to $300 off select major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCarthy. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service. From tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Summer adventures are more fun in a new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Home of the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada.
All this month, get 0% financing on all 2024 Mitsubishi models.
Plus, get up to a $3,000 trade-in bonus.
And double the loyalty rebate for all existing Mitsubishi owners, up to $1,000.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
Come on. Welcome back. What a great Tuesday show. If you missed it, football and baseball and hockey GMs early. Some good points from Struddy. We had TR, Dave McCarthy. Man, it was a loaded show. Lots of great texts at 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. Hey, boys, that jump that Struddy's talking about, the move is the tail whip. There we go. Thank you, Andrew. BMX is awesome. Different level. That's like, if you've never seen the 30 for 30 big air, I highly recommend watching that. Now that was awesome. So enjoy your Tuesday evening. For many of you, if you're looking for events to watch, check out the women's rugby games tonight. You won't be disappointed. Some great swimming and more. Tomorrow, Canada on tap for a few other good potential medals. Of course, the men's basketball team, that's something to watch for. The big game tomorrow, the many will be watching, Canada and Colombia. You win the game, it doesn't matter what happens in the appeal. Well, they might know, depending, the appeal will be heard tomorrow. We'll talk about all of that and much, much more. On behalf of Connor Halley and Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks, as always, for listening. Let's get to the comment and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by eWell, your partner in power since 1976, supplying the City of Champions and all of Alberta with great electrical gear. EWEL.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Canada won silver earlier today in the women's rugby sevens of the Paris Olympic Games after losing to New Zealand 19-12. Canada's previous best finish in rugby sevens was bronze at the Rio Games, where the discipline debuted in 2016. Twin sisters Catherine and Michelle Blue combined for 18 points. Canada opened its run at the Olympics 3-on-3 basketball tournament with a 22-14 win over Australia. They're back in action tomorrow, taking on China, and RJ Barrett had a game-high 24 points for Canada as they improved to 2-0, downing Australia 93-83. They'll be back in action on Friday morning, 9:15, taking on Spain. Calgary Flames have signed restricted free agent goaltender Dustin Wolf to a 2-year contract with an AAV of $850,000. Montreal Alouettes quarterback Cody Fajardo has been taken off the 6-game injured list. He was injured back on July 11th in a loss to the Argos in the first quarter. From the NFL, the Chicago Bears and wide receiver DJ Moore agreeing to terms on a 4-year, $110 million extension with $82.6 million guaranteed. And the Everett Silvertips have hired former Oil Kings head coach Steve Hamilton to be their next bench boss. In the majors, the Jays right now trail the Orioles 5-1. That's in the bottom of the fourth. You've also got the Yankees trailing the Yankees 4-1. Marlins up on the Rays 2-0. The Cubs in Cincinnati, Reds leading 5-0 in that one. And the Mets and Twins are scoreless. Bottom of the third, Mariners lead the Red Sox 1-0. The Edmonton Riverhawks kicking off a series out in Victoria tonight. That one gets going just after 8 o'clock. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got another edition of Turn Sports. I'm Connor